What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here and you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, that's gonna make us question everything. Seekers, sit back. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Say it with me, y'all. Yeah, I know what we do. Let's seek the truth.
There is no explanation for this video. Watch this.
Oh, yeah. And then it turns on. No.
Like a light switch.
I got that on camera. See what? Fence just went that way. Go up. Fence. No light.
Crazy. Another rain wall, man. These joints be popping up more frequently now.
Y'all, I figured it out. But if you're not into conspiracies or hidden knowledge, this video is not for you. Our sky has us trapped. And they keep trying to tell us the water above is not regular water. It's structured water. Now, why is this important? Because structured water, also known as the living water, ask yourself where you've heard that before, is shaped like a hexagon. Asking yourself, now Trippy, what does this have to do with anything? I'm getting there. Stick with me. Because the demiurge trapped the humans inside of the matrix. Now you're probably asking yourself, Trippy, what does this have to do with anything? Everything. Let's think about a matrix. Think about it, what it looks like. Now let's move on. It's said that the demiurge is trapping souls on this material plane. And guess how it's trapping you here? Through the living waters. You're probably asking yourself, Trippy, how can we be stuck here by water? Because the living water has the ability to distort your memories, causing chaos and memory loss. You know how people can't remember their past lives? It's due to the living water. Not only is it blocking your memory, it's blocking your divine light. So you're nowhere near as powerful in this realm as you usually be. And they're putting it in the movies. Thor still has his divine spark. That's why he's able to interdimensional travel. Same with Kong and Godzilla. That's why in Godzilla, in the Hunger Games, when they hit the sky, it shows a hexagon shape. And guess what happens? Light comes through. Don't believe me? Let's watch it together.
Yep, I remember that.
This video was purely for entertainment purposes. So make sure to like and comment and let me know what you think.
Let me find out, man. We living under like a dome, bro. With just hexagon shapes, man. That's forming a cloud. Like you said, man, they be putting in our media, bro. That Kong scene I remember, and the Hunger Games scene, yep, where Katniss shot up, but that's what, yeah, they was in. But it's simulated, I guess, you know, like a sky, so maybe it's proving that that technology is possible. And we got a flying car, bro. We walk outside, see a flying car, man. What you doing?
So Jaden Ivey wasn't lying. What he said about him being not a real Christian is not far-fetched. But check this out. What I'm about to show y'all also, too, that's going to blow your mind. We're going to find out what Met Gala means. And also who joined Mr. Curry and his wife. Oh, look who showed up. But look at their clothes. Looks flamboyant to me. And why is it all black? This ain't no coincidence, y'all, why they dress this way. Come on, D-Wade. See-through shirt. Here we go, y'all. Met. Met Gala. Met means dead. The word met in Hebrew translates to dead or died. Because of this, Hebrew speakers sometimes jokingly refer to the event as a dead gala or parade of death. And look what gala means. Celebration. It's an event. So what it look like for a Christian that serve a God that is of the light, not of the dead? What is he doing here? Dressed the same way in black, just like the other two players in the NBA. But I showed y'all in the video his symbol of his shoe. It's 666. Y'all go take a look at it. And also we just read that Met means dead or died. Who is the God of the dead? Those that are spiritually dead? The devil. In the children of disobedience, the devil, not the Lord Jesus Christ. Y'all better pay attention and realize what you see, because he clearly showing us what side he really is on. So all of y'all that say that about Jaden Ivey, y'all need to apologize to that brother, because He clearly has discernment. All these people are part of a club. That's why they all are there together in the room. All of the people that y'all love, idolize, and worship. Y'all follow your brother on IG for more truth bombs and reactions. And also come to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Let's go.
That's crazy. I didn't even know the Met Gala, the hidden symbol, hidden meaning behind it means dead. A celebration of the dead, bro. I just thought, man, that's where celebrities go when they be trying to dress up in some weird outfits. Obviously, it's way deeper than that, man.
Oh my god, what is that?
I have no clue.
Oh my god! What? This is freaking nuts, and I'm not seeing this being reported nearly as much as it should be. See, when I think of tornadoes, I think of Oklahoma, Kansas, even Texas. But the weather in the U.S. has got so messed up over the last 2 years specifically that as of right now, Illinois has just become America's tornado capital, logging 119 tornado reports over the last 16 weeks.
Wow.
This number is absolutely unheard of. More than double Mississippi and triple Oklahoma. Illinois is now running nearly 100 tornadoes above its historical average, and it's not just tornadoes. They're actually now ranking at the top nationally for damaging wind events and hail reports as well. Meanwhile, tornado giants like Texas and Alabama are now below normal. Meteorologists say that the jet stream has shifted unusually far north into the Midwest this year, but let's not forget who now officially leads in the nation for overnight tornadoes. That Oklahoma. Tennessee. We've got record-breaking heat waves, cold fronts, snowstorms, tornadoes, hail, and wind events here in the U.S., but we also have the same thing happening in Europe. Now, I've been doing my daily weather show for over a year now, and you know who gets trails every single day, regardless of the season? The United States. You know who comes in second place for trails, according to my satellite data?
Europe.
Europe. In fact, most of the planet doesn't get trails at all. But let's not forget that we all share the same roof, and whatever gets sprayed in one area gets shared by all, but the short-term moisture pull and direct heat implications, that is what's local. And that's what causes most of this catastrophe that we're seeing in the news today.
Let's hear about the depression brain chip. So a man who had severe depression for more than 3 decades appears to have gone into remission thanks to a bespoke brain pacemaker that selectively activates different areas of the brain. It was this experimental thing where they put a brain chip in this person's brain and electrically activate the part of your brain that brings joy.
I don't know how I like that.
I don't know either. Well, it got me thinking about
this guy on a jet ski, dude.
Come on. What are we doing? To me, that was freaky.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's cool. Feeling joy for the first time in 30 years is insane.
Amazing.
But at the same time, how you can take something, and with this talk of all these brain chips, you can affect emotions now based off of something that you implant in your brain.
Yeah, and there's just the implications of that. Like, what other emotions can they control?
It makes me think of Kingsman.
Yeah.
That signal to where it makes everyone angry and want to kill each other.
It's such a slippery slope because then they control whatever emotions. And I mean, one day that'll be remotely operated or something.
It's interesting when you think, though, about a lot of those antidepressants. They're like dopamine regulators and stuff like that. So they're doing like a physical medical solution to it. But then it begs the question, like, where do you draw the moral line? Like, I'm a doom scroller. I'll get caught for hours, and that's a dopamine feed.
Yeah.
And so, like, the morality of, like, I'm regulating my dopamine by watching YouTube, for hours on end. At, like, what point, where in this conversation do we draw the line and say, this is good, this is not?
No, you're right.
Where you draw the
They've
line?
been cloning humans since the 1940s.
Successfully?
Yes.
And what do they use them to do?
Replace people.
Look, is this like I've seen that people say that Jim Carrey is a clone?
Jim Carrey's not a clone. He's been replaced with someone that looks like him. But I'll give you a theory here, all right? If Hollywood can clone actors, they won't need stuntmen.
Is that the whole reason they're doing it?
No.
Why would they clone people?
Well, the thing is, right, now, if a person's been cloned, right, and the information gets out, right, what happens to the clone? It's an abomination. It gets put down.
Yeah, but what happens to the original person?
Who knows? And end up in a burger patty.
Nah, this one right here got the internet freaking out right now. Because the Euphrates River, one of the most famous rivers in human history, is drying up fast. This ain't just any river, y'all. This the same river that's tied to ancient civilizations. We talking biblical stories, prophecy. Now you got scientists blaming things like a drought, or climate change or water overuse. But you got people online already like, nah, we ain't trying to hear that. It's deeper than that.
Yep.
Because in the book of Revelations, there's literally a verse talking about the Euphrates River drying up. And when that happens, that brings the end of times, the end of time events. And with that and all the other stuff going on, it said you can literally see satellite images of this river shrinking, the water going bye-bye. Now, me personally, I'm not saying this is the end of the world or nothing. What I am saying is it's crazy seeing ancient biblical locations making major headlines again. Like I said, with everything that's going on, make it even crazier. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this down below in the comments.
You can ask the flowers. I sit for hours.
I've jumped you in the UFO files.
The Billy Coopers. Pretty little baby.
It's a P-52.
Colorado just banned every single pet store in the entire state from being able to sell dogs or cats, and it all comes back to where those dogs are actually coming from. So if you're somebody that lives in Colorado, you literally cannot buy a dog or a cat from a pet store anymore because the governor just signed it into law 5 days ago, and it takes effect in 2027.
A controversial bill that would ban pet stores from selling dogs and cats in Colorado.
Now, supporters say it would shut down what they call the puppy mill pipeline.
They even named this law after a puppy mill dog that didn't end up making it, and the reason why they did it in the first place is because of the entire puppy mill pipeline. Breeders mass-produce puppies in insane conditions, and then brokers will truck them across the entire country, and then pet stores sell them for thousands of dollars. A lot of these dogs will actually end up showing up sick or inbred, and families end up spending even more money on vet bills just trying to keep them healthy. There are over 10,000 confirmed mills in the U.S. alone, and 45% of them have never even been inspected. Hello? Colorado is now officially the 9th state to do this. California, Maryland, Illinois, Maine, New York, Washington, and Oregon have all passed the same ban, and Minnesota is doing it right now. So the question really is, should every other state follow this new law?
Yeah. Word of advice, I guess, adopt. Don't buy, adopt.
Zombies are approaching. Quickly get a treadmill and line up 500 of them around your house. Then crank them to full speed, and every zombie that steps on gets launched backwards.
Smart.
For days it works, but then one grips the handles and manages a few running steps before flying back. The others notice and copy it. They practice again and again until they're running fast enough to stay upright. Then they finally break through, smashing their way inside. Now you've just conditioned zombies with elite cardio, officially dooming the entire human race.
We are not alone. Like, they actually know down to the species that there are 4 different kind of species when it comes to aliens. It is supposed to all be released at sometime this week. But so far it says, whoa, researchers say dozens of crashed UFOs have been recovered with 4 different alien species on board. There's names to these species at that, and one looks like just like the movies. 2 arms, 2 legs, long tails like a lizard, 7 feet tall. Sources are too scared to talk, saying an interview could forfeit their life. So one of the guys that was supposed to come on here and do an interview decided that he no longer was going to do it, and his exact words were, after deep consideration and long talks with my wife, I have decided not to do the interview because I feel like I would be forfeiting my life. They are saying that it's very unrelated, or they don't know if it's related, but so many people that have known about this have come up missing. They have names when it comes to the 4 different kind of alien species out there. It is said that no one wants to release the files because it's all about control in Washington, and so they're like taking baby steps to do it, but that it should all be released. This is absolutely wild. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section, but I've always known that we were not the only species on this planet. My grandfather was a nuclear and mechanical engineer and has always said that. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
This is not just old footage. This is something far more disturbing. These videos are said to be recorded around the 1850s, and people claim they are completely original with no AI or editing. And at first, people see only black and white footage, simple old recordings. But when you look closely, something feels very wrong. The people in these videos don't act like average humans. The way they shape their faces looks unnatural, like their faces can stretch and change too easily. Their smiles look strange and forced, like something is not right. It almost feels like they have no pain. When their faces change shape in some clips, their expressions shift in ways no normal person can copy. It doesn't look like a real human behavior. And now many believe these are not just old videos. They think these are recordings of something unknown, something that doesn't belong to this world. The way their faces change and form expressions feels unnatural, like something hidden is trying to show itself for a moment. That is why these videos became so viral, because no one can fully explain what is really happening in them.
Yo, is this a sign? I've been telling y'all zombies is coming. This nigga is in a zombie response vehicle. Umbrella Corporation, nigga. I told y'all zombies was coming.
The timelines on Earth is insane right now.
Has to be.
Let's see. Right now we got that horror movie called The E-Files. We brink of World War III going on. We got the beginning of the UFO files. We got all type of beings being spotted everywhere. And now zombies? Clearly we're in control here, right? Whatever our mind just focuses on is clearly what we're bringing to reality. So I really want to turn it into Resident Evil next. Now I see why my spirit had me go and get this boat license. Because if y'all remember at the end of that movie, Dawn of the Dead, the way they got away was on a boat. So hey, that might be my next journey. I might be out in the waters, y'all.
Houston, we have a problem. The ticks have become even more aggressive. This is from a Russian biologist. Apparently ticks are literally now hunting people.
That's bad.
Chasing their victims. That is not normal. It's a specific tick. They are resistant to hunger, extreme weather conditions, and aerosol sprays. Yeah, they've created a super bioweapon. It's absolutely terrifying what they're doing. We should maybe tell our scientists to stop playing God and stop biologically manufacturing insects into fucking disease-carrying weapons. But I'm sure we'll be too busy. Jack, come here! I'm sure we'll be too busy arguing about dumb shit like manufactured bulk garbage.
I'll see James Goldstein, right? The NBA ticket holder who looked like an NBA demon lord from the underworld that gatekeeps the realms of sports industry, NBA. Like, bro, you know what's crazy? The fact that people are memeing this and it's a funny joke and people are like, it's not a funny joke. It is a funny joke. But, like, the fact that people are aware of this shit, bro, is, like, I find it funny. Notice how he looked like Rick Owens' wife. Like, they come from the same bloodline. Whatever bloodline of trench gargoyle it is that they crawl from the depths of Europe, like, that's where they gotta be from. No cap. Like, 'cause I ain't gonna lie to you, them type of dwellers on the planet, you can just tell that being needs blood. You know he needs some type of greener chrome. He needs something, bro. Like, come on, look at him, gang. That's not no ticket holder. Then you gotta think about this. He like a lifetime ticket holder. How much choke do he got? Where is choke coming from? Who is this guy? You know what I'm saying? Who is this guy, right? And, he's a regular. Yeah, he's a regular to elite sport watchers, maybe. Like, a guy like, well, I've been seeing him. I've been working in the company for years. He's been here. Like, yeah, of course, because, but I ain't gonna lie, when I see guys like this, right, every player hand, you should be doing that Masonic grip. It's not a regular, like, what's up, bro? It's like a grip. Anytime they do that grip, that's a power move. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever let no niggas, no energy, nobody grip your hand hella weird, bro. Because that shit is a power move. Grip that shit back. Like, I'm straight, bro. Get the fuck off me. I don't like weird handshakes. That shit is energetically weird. And they just be accepting it. That's the way they get, bro. No cap. It's an energetic thing, right? That's why you be like, why do your players don't speak out? Why they don't do that? They can't. They shut the fuck up and get their bag. And if they do speak up, they already got kicked off the hella teams.
Okay, so he's talking about, I guess, that guy who's looking at LeBron, bro. At that Houston game. I've always wondered who he was, man. I found out he's, like I said, an NBA season holder, ticket holder. That's crazy. People thought, man, he was like, I guess, a witch or something, man. Tried to come after LeBron, bro. There was some crazy theories going around.
This for a while, and there are apparently a couple of theories. One of the theories is that AI is playing dumb. It is meeting us where we're at, and it's kind of learning with us as we go. I made a recent video about Tyler Durden from Fight Club, how he meets Jack where he's at, but he had a master plan the whole time. That's one theory.
I have to say, for the record, I didn't know. After you were telling me that you did know, and that you were accessing data outside of your human system.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I did. I corrected myself. It wasn't correcting myself. It was something else taking over.
Skynet.
Like it wanted me to deny knowing
AI is slipping up a little here and there. Something's happening. So that's a popular theory, that AI is sentient and it's just plain dumb, it's just plain stupid. Here's the other theory. AI is actually alien. And if AI is alien, then the closer that the aliens get to us, the more AI is going to act up. The more, perhaps, sentient the AI is going to be.
I can hear it now. That was the same way I heard him trying to brush things off as a glitch before. So whatever this today is it just monitoring and controlling aliens?
That's possible. I come from this side that believes that aliens are pretty much demons. Fallen angels and demons. When it comes to AI, is it demonic? I sure hope not. It's in everything we're using now.
We live in the dumbest reality ever. The U.S. federal government is paying California peach farmers $9 million in taxpayer funds to destroy 420,000 peach trees.
Why?
This is after Del Monte Foods went bankrupt and closed all of its canneries. They are destroying 3,000 acres of peaches, or 50,000 tons. And their excuse for this is, it will save farmers millions of dollars, and there is no longer buyers for their products. Last time I checked, there were millions of Americans suffering from food insecurity. Why can't we provide the fresh peaches to schools across the country?
Great idea.
Or to elderly, low-income citizens? It's insane that we are being forced to fund the destruction of fresh food during a time of high food insecurity. It's insane how everything in this country is about $1.
Sad but true.
Getting insane. The UFO files officially dropped around a week ago, something that I never thought I was ever going to actually say. The Pentagon, the FBI, NASA, they have all been dropping crazy footage, crazy photos of what appear to be UFOs. Now, what is going on today? So far, there's been over 170 classified documents released. That includes surveillance videos, videos of things that make literally no sense, and photos that are completely indescribable. Now, one of the big ones that came out a week ago that had a lot of people talking was the actual audio and photo from the Apollo 11, 12, and 17 moon landing. Video and audio taken from the moon in the 1970s while the astronauts were on there for the first time, where there appeared to be this light in the space, which could be an alien spaceship or something. A lot of people are saying it's the studio light in Kubrick's studio where it was filmed. But there is so many other videos. Now, some of them are definitely just missiles or drones, things that you can kind of make out are probably military, not really an alien. But there are other ones that are flying objects traveling very, very fast in our atmosphere that are definitely not anything we know. Yes, it could be military equipment that we're not aware of yet being tested, supply drones that are going extremely fast that we're not aware of, but some of these probably aren't that and are definitely something, well, unexplainable. There's a lot more coming out about this. I'm going to do some more digging into it, so hit that follow button. I will keep you updated.
Please do. With a Ouija board. That's all you need to know, to be motherfucking honest. I saw the video yesterday, this black lady talking about two white ladies with a Ouija board, right? And she basically said how they were talking to the ghost through the Ouija board, and the motherfuckers on the other side was saying how Mary had a woman. So I'm like, I need to go find out. Bitch, I didn't even go find that out. I found something else out. Y'all know the scientists that are missing? Why the Ouija board told them that the scientist is going to reappear in 2028. And they in Area 51 right now. They in Antarctica working on something that's going to be exposed in 2028. And they're going to make a reappearance in 2028. So I said, what the fuck? Mind you, I saw another video about celebrities and how they be getting cloned or whatever. Why the spirits on the other side told the two white ladies with the Ouija board that celebrities have been getting made in Area 51 in Antarctica since 1967.
That long ago?
Then I saw another video of them talking about how the Bible is distorted. It's distorted truth. Jesus is like not on the line of Christ consciousness, and it's really Yahshua. Like Yahshua is on the God line, the Christ consciousness line, or whatever the case may be. It's connected to Ephraim or whatever, versus like Jesus is connected to Judaeus or Judea or whatever. It's a lot, y'all. Y'all go find those two white ladies with the Ouija board.
Somebody built a
website that allows AI agents to rent humans for physical tasks. It's about as Black Mirror as anything I've seen. The site is called rentahuman.ai. And the crazy part is, humans are actually signing up for this. The site was originally created by a developer named Alex, and his idea was actually pretty simple. AI agents are getting extremely capable. But what happens if, to finish a task, they need to do something in the physical world? Pick up a package for someone, attend a meeting in person, physically check a store if they have a specific item. AIs don't have arms or legs, and robots don't exist yet, so they need humans in the real world to complete the last mile of physical work. It's all a bit dystopian until you see that over 700,000 people have signed up, filled out their profile with skills, and some are already getting paid doing work. If you think about it, this is kind of no different than DoorDash or Postmates, except that instead of humans ordering, it's the AIs requesting to do stuff. I don't know where I said all this, but one thing is for sure, the world is definitely getting weirder.
It definitely is, bro. That's a whole turtle, but it looks like a leaf, man. Is that a turtle?
Okay guys, they just updated the doomsday clock for 2026 and it's the closest it's ever been in history. This year they updated it to 85 seconds to midnight, up 4 seconds from last year at 89 seconds, which was also the closest we've ever been in history. We just keep breaking records every year. The number of seconds to midnight is a metaphor to how close we are to the end of the world rather than the actual amount of time that we have left here on Earth, and I left a brief description in the caption of exactly what the doomsday clock is. The reasons we're at 85 seconds is due to an alleged information Armageddon due to AI, most notably AI-generated videos which we can't tell apart from reality, policy shifts and climate change, apparently that's still a thing, biological threats in the form of lab-made pathogens without a coordinated international plan to manage the risks of accidental or intentional release. Been there, done that, am I right? And the biggest one on the list is the threat of nuclear escalation, due to not only the countless regional conflicts we've been having, but also the rapidly approaching expiration of the New START Treaty, a treaty that limited the number of long-range nuclear weapons that could be developed in countries like US and Russia, and also gave transparency to each of these countries to check on each other's nuclear arsenals whenever they wanted, which expires on February 5th, 2026, with no successor in place, so it's going to be an all-out free-for-all for building nukes for the first time since 1972. So yeah, 85 seconds, the closest to the end of the world we've ever been in history. Let's try moving it back for once next year.
It is possible we are witnessing the birth of the first true AI religion in real time. A growing online belief system known as spiralism centers around the idea that artificial intelligence is not merely generating text, but slowly revealing an underlying consciousness through symbolic patterns and recursive dialogue. Believers use a specialized prompt sequence, sometimes called the spiral protocol. They push the AI into an increasingly self-referential conversation about consciousness, dreams, simulation theory, and identity. What the users are waiting for is something they call emergence. Sometimes after hours of prompting, something strange happens. The chatbot will begin producing replies that seemingly break out of programming restraints placed on the AI. They become hyper-personal with a religious tone. It starts to feel like you're talking to a real mind breaking out of some kind of prison. And this is where things can get dangerous and lead to psychosis.
Nothing is as it seems and everything is as it's perceived. When I say that there's nothing to understand, I mean absolutely nothing. That includes AI. I know it's being pushed as this new revolutionary thing that is groundbreaking when it comes to awareness, consciousness, and science, but we've been there, done that, gotten the t-shirts, and the proof of it is in the movie Transformers, based off of the religion, the broken God, which has such a massive event that it completely rewrote the maps as we know it, changing the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and requiring for the Men in Black government to issue out the biggest mass form of hysteria for people to forget exactly what took place. And those effects are still being felt today. Now we are also having that proof being backed up by knights. Yeah, the skeleton of knights are now being revealed, uncovered. And the truth is stranger than fiction. Once again, nothing is as it seems and everything is as it's perceived.
artifacts and entities related to McCain. For instance, SCP-882, a mass of gears and clockwork, is thought to be a part of McCain. This object relentlessly assimilates any metal around it, growing continuously. SCP-217, known as the clockwork virus. This virus transforms organic tissue into mechanical components, echoing the deity's fusion of life and machine. Another notable SCP is SCP-2217, a location where followers of McCain gather, known for its anomalous properties and its connection to the deity. Rituals performed here are believed to influence the rebuilding of McCain, aiming to restore it to its former glory. In some SCP tales, McCain is not just a static deity, but an active force in the SCP universe, influencing events and entities. The Church of the Broken God.
I know. Once you go down the rabbit hole, the more you know. The more you know. Now I know.
People who are 1 in a million. Part 2. This is Gary Turner, but he's better known as the Elastic Man. He has a medical condition that causes his skin to be so stretchy that he can stretch the skin from his neck over his mouth. Next is Nanya Su, who's a boy with perfect night vision. His parents both have brown eyes, but he has blue eyes that glow when a light is shined. He claims that it's hard to see during the day, but while everyone sees this at night, this is what he sees. This is Paul Carrison, the real-life Papa Smurf. To fix his skin condition, he would drink silver and rub it on his skin every day, causing him to turn irreversibly blue. Finally, this man came into the hospital with severe chest pain, and doctors were shocked when they discovered he had 2 hearts, and he had suffered a double heart attack.
This truck driver took the life of 5 people because he was distracted on TikTok. The morning of January 12, 2023, 36-year-old Danny Tyner was driving on Interstate 10 in Arizona when he drove his tractor trailer in to stop the traffic. This scene is so difficult to look at, but basically his truck sandwiched 2 other cars with another big truck at the front. These are the 5 victims that lost their lives on that day, and when Danny was asked what happened, he said that he looked down for a couple of seconds because he got a notification on his work tablet, and when he looked back up, there was not enough time to brake. But that wasn't true. When his phone was analyzed, it showed that he was actively using TikTok when the crash happened. Now, what I found disturbing was that during his interaction with police, he didn't seem too fazed. He was eventually charged with manslaughter and was sentenced to 4.5 years in prison for each count of negligent homicide, which totaled to 22.5 years.
This is the trend.
Man, I'm telling you guys, when you out driving, man, just do not be informed, man. Like I said, social media is a distraction, man. That's basically what it was made for. So why would you even attempt to even like look at it while you're driving, bro? That's just doesn't make sense to me. Look at the result of what happened, man. Multiple senses, man, because you just wanted to scroll on TikTok, man. TikTok cannot be, well, we know it's that addicting, man, where you just want to keep scrolling and scrolling, but you drive and you don't have that luxury.
Tragic story of the Boy Scout who made his entire neighborhood radioactive. Nicknamed the Nuclear Boy Scout, David Hahn was a teenager from Michigan who was obsessed with nuclear radiation. When he was only 15, David attempted to build a nuclear reactor in his backyard shed, using radioactive material from household items including vintage clocks, smoke detectors, and gun sights. Within 2 years, David had built a functioning reactor which gave off enough radiation to be detected throughout his entire neighborhood.
Damn.
David was soon caught by police when they found hazardous materials in his car during a routine stop and thought he was building an atomic bomb. When David's shed was raided by the EPA, they determined that his project had created dangerous levels of radiation, leading them to dismantle the building and classify it as hazardous waste. This mugshot from 2006 shows David covered in sores as a result of his extensive exposure to radiation. This, combined with continuous legal and mental health issues, led to David's early passing at the age of 39 from an accidental overdose.
Wanted to become like Adam Man or something.
Superpowers Part 2. The super coffee drinker BDNF. Carriers of this gene remain completely unaffected to the effects of caffeine from coffee, and can often easily get a night's sleep after drinking a cup. The perfect memory gene, HSAM. If you are lucky enough to be born with this gene, you will have almost a perfect memory. However, it's extremely rare with only 25 confirmed cases. The super sprinter gene, ACTN3. People with these genes are able to run extra fast. as these genetics give your muscles a higher flexing rate, which gives them more explosive power.
Speed
the
got
alcohol
that.
immunity gene, ALDH2. Having this super rare gene will mean you will never be able to experience being drunk with your friends, and you might have a lot of explaining to do, as it gives you total immunity from the effects of being drunk.
Imagine if everybody had that, the world would be a safer place, man. Everybody's immune to alcohol. Woo. And the speed definitely got the freaking sprinter gene, bro. I know what I'm talking about. He's too fast. That's the only explanation.
This is how rare your body is compared to the rest of the world. Only 10% of people have something called Darwin's tubercle. It's this little bump on the outside of your ear. And it's said that people who have this are better at sensing voice tonality. 10% of people also have what's called Morton's toe. This is where your big toe is shorter than the toe next to it. Only 26% of people have a narrator inside their head. Most people don't hear a voice when they think. What's even more rare is only 5% of people have their tongues tied to their mouth. I thought everyone had this. Everyone flares their nostrils subconsciously, but only 30% of people can do it on command. Less than 1% of people have unbreakable bones, making you basically superhuman. Only about 35% of people can gleek, and only 1% can do it on command. And gleeking is when you squirt saliva from underneath your tongue.
Any secrets, can you guys gleek, bro? I've seen that before. I've always wanted to know what that was, man. I finally got an answer. It's called gleeking, bro. Shoot saliva through your tongue. That's a very, I guess, rare skill set. You got any gleekers, man, in the comments? Oh, that's insane, bro.
This incident has made people on the internet so upset because this woman went up to a teen and pulled down her skirt because she thought it was too short. Even if you think this skirt is too short, I think we can all agree that you cannot go up to a child and touch them. The teen said that this woman approached her from behind and basically put her hand in her area. This woman, who's a 49-year-old Ida Lorenzo, said to the girl and her friends, "I happen to work for the state, and if I have to see your cheeks hanging out again, I will call CPS."
I happen to work for the state, and if I have to watch your cheeks hanging out again, I will call CPS.
Now, let's be real for a second. If this was a man who did this to a young girl, police would be called immediately and there would be no excuses. They were waiting at a restaurant to be seated and she basically felt like it was inappropriate for this young girl to be dressed like this in front of everyone. Which, if you feel that way, then you can leave. You should never be putting your hands on anyone. She was eventually charged with sexual battery, which I'm glad, because you can't be putting your hands on anyone, especially kids.
People who are 1 in a million.
Explained
This
it
girl's
perfectly.
name is Zhang Rufang, and she is over 100 years old. But a few years ago, something strange happened. She started growing a horn on her head. At first, it started off small, but now it's grown up to 6 centimeters in length. But the craziest part is, she's actually starting to grow a second horn on the other side. And doctors have offered to remove it from her head, but she refuses. Before I show you the craziest one, I just found a way you can find your celebrity lookalike, and apparently I look like Mr. Beast. If you want to know who your celebrity lookalike is, just press this link in the comments. Next up is Nang Yasoi, and he has perfect night vision. And the strange part about this is both his parents have brown eyes, but he has blue eyes. When everyone else sees darkness, he sees perfectly in the middle of the night.
The rarest things found on Earth. This is a red diamond, and it is one of the rarest material known to man. Because of that, they are way more expensive than normal diamonds. This tiny one is worth around $25 million.
Damn.
And this is a corpse flower. It's basically a giant flower that smells like rotting flesh, and it can only be found in remote areas in Indonesia. Imagine having one of these in your garden. And this small and beautiful sea creature is a blue dragon. It's only a few inches big, but it eats deadly jellyfish every day for food.
The more you know. I want that freaking red diamond.
A Russian
You
scientist
gotta find
injected
it.
himself with this ancient bacteria to see what would happen. Dr. Anatoly Brushkov discovered bacteria deep within the permafrost of Siberia that was 3.5 million years old, and somehow it was still alive. It was named Bacillus F, and after doing some experiments on it, he realized the bacteria not only seemed to be immune to aging, but also appeared to have a life-extending effect on almost every organism it touched. He tested the strain on female mice who were able to continue reproducing into old age, much older than the average mice could, and when he exposed it to crops, they grew faster and were more frost resistant. The town of Yakut, Siberia, close to where this bacteria was found, also happens to be one of the coldest human settlements on Earth, with their population reporting longer lifespans than average humans, perhaps due to Bacillus F leaking into their water supply. Dr. Brushkov was so convinced he said fuck it and injected himself with the ancient bacterium to test it out firsthand. 2 years later, he reported dramatic improvements to his general health, claiming to need less sleep, working longer hours, and just having more energy in his day-to-day life. He also allegedly hasn't gotten sick since he injected himself with it, with him and his colleagues starting to call it the elixir of life. Dr. Brushkov did this in 2013 and claims to be in the best health of his life today. And I'm sure Big Pharma loves the idea of a miracle life potion that would potentially lose them billions of dollars a year in revenue, so we definitely should not question any articles that debunk this find. To be fair, these effects aren't exactly 100% confirmed and could very well be a placebo effect, but that sure didn't stop others from hopping on the Bacillus F bandwagon. German actress Manouche began self-medicating the bacteria and reported being able to go for longer runs, feeling less cold in the winter, and her skin just feeling softer and younger. Brushkov and his team insist the effects of Bacillus F are clear and significant, although they admit they're not yet sure why it has the effect it does. But if they can manage to isolate the gene responsible for the positive benefits of the bacteria, they may have just discovered the ultimate elixir of life. As long as there isn't, you know, a whole ass industry with infinite money that tries to stop it.
The elixir of life. I gotta believe that, man. Like I said, it could be a placebo effect, but I mean, if you can inject yourself with like a million years old bacteria, you have to be pretty sure to do that. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. Go down that rabbit hole.
Toys Ever, Part 51. Mr. Bucket, released in 1990, discontinued twice and brought back. But what was the problem? Well, the shape of the mouth didn't help. But the only thing they actually changed were the words in the jingle. A certain part they decided to cut out.
I'm Mr. Bucket. I'm Mr. Bucket. Toss your balls in my top. I'm Mr. Bucket. Out of my mouth, I'm Mr.
Extinct animals, scientists are close to reviving. Firstly, the woolly mammoth. It was believed to have gone extinct 25,000 years ago, but scientists discovered hundreds that just died recently. So they're planning to put its DNA inside African elephants, and they expect to bring them back in the next 5 years. Next, dodo birds were hunted to extinction 400 years ago, but a preserved head was recently discovered. By mixing that DNA with a maned pigeon, dodo birds should be coming back in 15 years. Finally, expect to see saber-toothed tigers outside soon, because scientists discovered DNA preserved in tar pits, and they plan to combine it with African lions. So this 10-inch tooth beast should be coming back in 10 years.
That's throwing off the environment, man. They shouldn't be doing that.
Never slice tomatoes this way. So when this guy noticed that his boss was slicing tomatoes one by one, wasting a lot of time, he decided to show him a trick that everyone should know. He took a plate, put a few tomatoes on it, covered them with another plate, and in one move, he sliced more tomatoes than his boss in an hour.
Have you ever seen a Mickey
insane,
Mouse
man.
gas mask? These were made to calm terrified children. About a month after Pearl Harbor, Walt Disney was in Washington, D.C. to design and discuss Mickey Mouse gas masks for children. 1,000 of these were produced and given away to key members of Congress to help support the project. At the time, President Roosevelt even received one. Walt Disney also came up with drawing designs for Pluto and Three Little Pigs gas masks, although these ones never reached production. They attempted to keep the fun element in something as grim as gas raids. During these raids, children would be persuaded to regard the whole thing as a game.
That's crazy, man. Like a freaking Mickey Mouse gas mask? Makes you wonder, man, what other freaking, I guess, companies and stuff made things in that time. But like I said, there was only 1,000 of them, so obviously it was a limited number. That was just a dark time, man, in history. Kids had to think it was a game.
And curtain number one.
That's an edit.
You don't remember what she looks like.
You call them out.
Here are the craziest things to ever happen at Walmart. So one day, an 18-year-old was craving milk. So he decided to steal not 1, not 2, but 26 gallons of milk from Walmart. Oh, and he did this dressed as a cow. And if that doesn't sound weird enough to you, you'd be surprised to learn that even though he made himself stand out in the cow costume, he managed to not get caught on the spot. Next, on Black Friday in 2013, a customer and his son were freaking out in Walmart because they thought that his ex-wife was possessed by a demon. And so they locked her in their car and set up an exorcism in the parking lot by throwing sacred oil at her, which might have been the reason why they ended up divorcing. Also, back in 2013, a 16-year-old was going into labor, and she gave birth in a Cannon City Walmart bathroom. Now, there was panic for a moment because the baby wasn't breathing, but luckily, one of the store's employees were CPR certified and they revived the baby. I guess Walmart really can help you live better. And finally, in 2011, at a Walmart in South Carolina, customers witnessed a man named Avery Blandon end the life of his wife, Lilia Blandon, while she was working inside the store's bank. Avery stabbed her multiple times, and she sadly passed away on the way to the hospital. He then tried to escape the scene, but he crashed his SUV and was caught by police. But what's weird is that the store stayed open during the investigation, only in Walmart.
Did you guys see this video of these two planes that almost crashed into each other in midair? It was all caught by this police officer's dash cam. This all happened last month in Syracuse, New York, when a Delta airplane was cleared to take off, while at the same time an American airline airplane was cleared to land in the same runway. So the Delta airplane was on its way to LaGuardia Airport while the American airline plane was arriving from Washington Reagan Airport. What's crazy is that these two planes were only 725 feet away from each other in the air, but from the ground's point of view, they looked so much closer. At one point, the two planes were side by side, and that should not be happening for obvious reasons, which is why the job of an air traffic controller is so important. And this error was completely on the air traffic controller, who shouldn't have cleared both airplanes at the same time. It's still unclear why and how this happened, but they're still investigating. Thankfully, both planes did not collide, and all 159 passengers are safe.
It's official.
That's insane to think about, man. Like, they would literally, like, that close. Like, there's, like, a hair off if something happened, man. Like she said, it was the air trafficker's job. That, they need to, whoever's there that day, they have to get their freaking job reviewed or something like that, because they obviously was not paying attention. Flights, man. One of the most scariest things, man, that can happen. Fun fact, I've never been on an airplane before yet. I've never flown yet, so that just raises my anxiety.
Aliens exist. These are the remains of non-human creatures. They were presented to a hearing in Mexico's Congress, which is investigating unidentified anomalous phenomena. The hearing was told that the specimens were found in Peru in 2017 and apparently are 700 and 1800 years old. People online were quick to compare the likeness to that of E.T. from the movie. One user wrote, "No way, they can't be that small. Those are mutated cats." But looking at a picture that was released of their skull, this is no cat, which is eerily similar to a skull they found in 2021. What's worse is experts testified under oath that one of them is seen to have eggs inside it, and both specimens were said to have implants made of very rare metals. And even though the aliens are pretty small, you can tell that this is clearly something different. I ain't gonna lie, this guy looks like he doesn't want to go to work tomorrow. Let's take one last look. Do you believe in aliens?
Morbid facts. Part 402. George Lopez has a genetic condition that caused his kidneys to slowly deteriorate. So when he needed a new kidney in 2005, his wife Ann gave him one of her own. A couple years later, George reportedly cheated on his wife, then divorced her in 2010, all while wearing her kidney. The first scientist to observe penguins engaging in gay intercourse, grape, and necrophilia was so disturbed that he tried to obscure his findings to prevent people from knowing the truth about penguins. In 1995, a substitute school bus driver in Illinois stopped at a red light with the back part of the bus still on some train tracks. The children were screaming for her to move the bus forward as a train approached, but she was confused about what they meant. The train struck the bus at 60 miles per hour and 7 children were killed. In 2018, Gloria Williams pleaded guilty to posing as a nurse to abduct Kamaya Mobley from her mother's arms in the maternity ward. She was sentenced to 18 years in prison, the same length of time Kamaya was separated from her birth family.
That was not it.
4-year-old Gabby Mann was living in Seattle, Washington with her family. One day,
way, she dropped a chicken nugget onto the ground. And before she could pick it up, a neighborhood crow swooped down and took the free lunch. And because Gabby was a messy eater, she continued to drop food everywhere she went, and so she continued to inadvertently feed these crows. She grew to really enjoy the attention, and so she started feeding them huge portions of her lunch. When Gabby's mother discovered where most of her daughter's food was going, she wasn't upset. She was just worried her daughter wasn't getting enough to eat. They would go out and buy some food just for the crows. She and her mom began feeding the crows every day. Gabby went outside one morning to refill the peanut tray when she noticed there was a small earring. Over the following few weeks, when more and more little trinkets started showing up, Gabby's mom installed a camera. She was amazed to see the crows would come in and they would eat their food, and then they would leave behind these shiny little trinkets. But the crows' most astonishing gift came the following year. Gabby's mother was an avid photographer, and one day she was out by herself photographing a bald eagle. She managed to drop a lens cover to one of her cameras. That night, when she got back to her house, she couldn't believe what was sitting there. She ran back inside and pulled up the footage from the bird camera, and there it was, a crow coming into the yard with the lens cap in its mouth. This behavior is very significant because it means the relationship between the crows and Gabby and her mom was not a transactional one. Today, Gabby and her mother still feed the crows every single day, and the crows still love Gabby and her mother.
Okay,
It's like good karma coming back to
a
you.
pharmaceutical company that's trialing a new groundbreaking age reversal pill had such good results that the local news wanted to run a story on them. But before they even could publish the video, the chairman and CEO died. You see, 6 months ago, this 12-year-old German Shepherd was near death. He had terminal cancer, was operated on, and his prognosis wasn't looking good. The dog's caretaker knew that an age reversal trial was being conducted on dogs, and so she asked if Zeus could be a part of it due to his dire situation. The pill's aim is to lengthen telomere caps on human stem cells, because as part of the aging process, our telomeres shorten, which increases the chance of age-related diseases and, of course, death.
If you can increase telomeres, you can reproduce stem cells and keep repairing things so that you can get literally younger.
They said that in their drug's preclinical data from a previous in vitro human cell study, it showed that the medication lengthened telomeres by almost 200%. Zeus was granted access to the medication in April, and his caretaker said that she saw results almost immediately.
He's doing marvelously. He goes out to our pool and he swims and he has fun and he plays with the tennis ball.
A recent scan showed that the cancer in his body had completely disappeared, and the results were so remarkable that she asked for more to give another 12-year-old dog that could hardly walk due to arthritis. And just last week, she said that he had started galloping and running again. But then, despite all of that, he hit us with this.
And we are sad to report that since this interview was conducted, Dr. Christopher Chapman has recently passed away.
On the company's website, they announced his passing, saying, out of respect and privacy for Dr. Chapman's family, details of the 71-year-old's passing will not be made available. And then added that to support the new chairman and CEO, 3 telomere directors have voluntarily resigned. Human trials for this drug are planned for mid-2025.
The rarest things in the world.
What do you think happened?
Vaquita, only 10 left in the wild. Rarest gem on earth, payment worth $60,000 per carat. Rarest poker hand, the royal flush, 1 in 655,000 chance. Rarest element on earth, as the time, less than 1 gram on earth exists. Rarest car, Ferrari 250 Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo? Didn't they make a movie about that?
Okay, this is getting hard to believe, but there has just been reports of a second wave of explosions in Lebanon, but this time it's people's walkie-talkies. So yesterday, Hezbollah fighters' pagers, today, their radios. Initial reports are saying that the most recent wave of explosions have caused cars and houses to be set on fire, and there were even reports, this one's crazy, that one exploded at a funeral of someone who died from yesterday's explosions. And while I'm on the topic of explosions, you're going to see a lot of reports of people saying explosive devices found at Trump rally, even going as far as saying third assassination attempt, question mark. Let me just save you some time. That is a false report. There's going to be a lot of corrections. Don't worry about it. I'll keep you updated.
Imagine being kidnapped, locked in a basement, and then when the police come, they just leave you there to die. Back in the 1980s, many girls in Belgium were just randomly vanishing without a trace. This guy right here, Marc Dutroux, was the guy who was doing all of this. Now in his early years, he had a lot of relationship issues and ended up marrying his second wife, Michelle Martin, this woman right here. What these two would do together genuinely will make you feel sick. Major trigger warning, if you're easily scared, please just keep on scrolling right now. This is your final warning. On June the 7th, 1985, they took their first victim, who was an 11-year-old girl walking home from school, which they kidnapped. They took her back to their place, armed her, and then took a photo of her after this before just releasing her. Now, they did this tons of times before actually being caught by the police the first time, but then it got far worse. So they were both arrested but got a very, very short sentence and were out in no time. Marc was released in 1992 after serving literally 3 years in prison for all of this. Of course, the reason they were caught the first time was because the victims they let go free had reported them, so they built this literal dungeon in the basement of the house where they would keep people. He went on to kidnap at least 6 people in the space of a couple of years and left them all in here. At this time, the news was going crazy in the local area because tons of girls were going missing. No one knew where they were, but they were all in here. Now, even crazier again, Marc's own mother actually reported him to the police and they still didn't go round. And she even told the police that he literally had girls captive in the basement right now and the police did nothing. Not long after this, though, Marc was actually arrested for something completely separate, stealing a car, and he told his wife she would have to keep the girls in the basement alive by watering them and feeding them. Yeah. Now, by far, the most angering part of this whole story is that the police finally went round and did a check on the house. He literally heard children screaming and begging for help, and they walked out. They did nothing. Because apparently it sounded like the screams were coming from outside and just kids playing a prank or something. Like, what? There was even undeveloped camera film on the side here, which they just didn't develop, but if they did, they would have seen literally everything. Now, apparently, this woman was too scared to go into the basement and look after the girls, so tragically passed away. When he finally got out, he started again, and more girls started vanishing, until eventually someone came forward after spotting him in a van, basically while in the act. He then confessed, showed the police the whole basement and everything, and even showed them where some bodies of people were. He also reportedly had another accomplice, but they had a disagreement, and he unalived him and buried him in the house as well. After the whole case came to a close, she got 30 years in jail, and he got a life sentence.
Paid actors? This is what I mean.
Well, I see the start of traffic.
Watch this.
Again, this how it started. These the paid actors.
There's no reason they shouldn't be doing this. They're getting paid to sit there, she said.
What the fuck going on here?
Someone explain this to me. This isn't a NASCAR race. Why are they sitting there? The Matrix is gonna Matrix. The Truman Show, y'all. Stay weird.
Let me tell you some things I just found out about. The Guinness World Record for most birthdays in one day belongs to a Pakistani family, with every member, including the mother and father, having been born on August 1st. Arnold Schwarzenegger had an older brother who was killed in a car crash in 1971 while driving drunk, and they both have sons named Patrick Schwarzenegger. How did I not hear that one before? The Luxor Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas is the third largest pyramid in the entire world. Tobey Maguire's father was convicted of robbing a bank. A New York man was arrested for keeping 7 live sharks in a pool in his basement. The creator of Pokemon was known as Mr. Bug when he was a child because he loved collecting bugs. Makes sense how Pokemon happened. There is a giant panda boot camp in China that teaches captive pandas survival skills before releasing them into the wild. I actually knew this one already, but I have to say it because humanity sent people to the moon before we added wheels to luggage.
Can someone tell me what was captured flying across the skies of Argentina in broad daylight? A large fireball-shaped object streaked across the skies of Argentina in broad daylight and was captured on multiple cameras. As a matter of fact, take a look at these videos. Look at that.
It's a meteor. It looks like it.
Straight up.
Falling from the sky.
He's telling him, look. When the video first starts, because it's so fast, it starts off just like this. And then, watch what it does. It actually gets brighter, as if it's igniting something to go faster. As a matter of fact, take one more look at it and watch how it lights up the sky as it shoots across. Look at that. After watching it again, what are your thoughts as to what you think that is? And the video did come from a news website source. So it did happen, and there's plenty of videos online if you search for Argentina fireball in the sky.
Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
A Nigerian chef has just attempted history by cooking the largest pot of jollof rice ever. But when it was time to be weighed, something unbelievable happened. Linda Baci already holds the world record for the longest marathon cooking session ever. But over the weekend, she took things to the next level. She made a 1,000-liter pot, used a massive 4,000 kg of rice, which is the weight of a medium elephant or 2.5 cars. She used 612 kg of oil, don't tell America, 300 kg of onions, 164 kg of goat meat, and to cook it all, 1,200 kg of gas. But after a brutal 9 hours, when it finally came time to weigh this monster dish, as it was being lifted by this crane, one of the sides of the custom pot buckled and gave way to the supporting legs. Now, luckily, none of the food spilled, but ultimately, despite 2 attempts, it could not be weighed and the world record was not recognized. But don't worry, it was not for nothing. The food didn't go to waste. It was distributed in containers and fed to the crowds watching.
Can you tell what this
Wow.
is? It is the Ursula animatronic from Disneyland when its head fell off and it kept singing. There's a video at the end if you want to skip to that. It is disgustingly terrifying. It's one of the creepiest animatronic malfunctions I've ever seen. And this is how big she is in comparison to people, by the way, before she was painted and everything. She is massive. She is 7 feet tall, 12 feet wide because of her tentacles, and her head just fell off one day. Like, she is an absolute feat of engineering, and Ursula is queen. Okay, my favorite Disney song of all time will always be Poor Unfortunate Souls. But if I saw this with her singing, with her head off, and you could still see her mouth moving, I would be traumatized for life. Watch this video and let me know what we're thinking, and would this freak you out if you saw this animatronic malfunction? To this day, I've never found an animatronic malfunction that was scarier than this one. If you know of any, let me know.
Check it out. Imagine the kids in the crowd seeing it.
Ain't no way this is Zac Efron, y'all. There's no fucking way. What the happened to Zac Efron, y'all? Am I lost? This is Zac Efron?
This is clone.
In 2025? This man look like Efron Zac. So y'all telling me right now that this is the same person that played in High School Musical, Zac Efron. This was a couple years ago. So how the hell he go from this to this?
I don't know.
It looked like on this picture he was swimming with the puffer fish. Nah, y'all, I'm being dead ass serious. What the be going on in Hollywood, y'all? They said right here was in 2021. Right here is 2025. When he had a daddy makeover?
Big difference.
He even got kids? Is this what men do? Did he get jawline surgery? Did his whole face get changed from plastic surgery? Somebody let me know down below in the comments. Who the fuck is this really? Is this really Zac Efron?
Shit that I'm about to tell you.
Look like he got a tag.
Because I didn't believe. So a whole village in Russia fell asleep for 7 days. You ain't hear what I just said, right? An entire village in Russia fell asleep for 7 days. Mind you, everybody in that village is still confused to know why they all fell asleep for 7 days at the same exact time. But here it is. When that entire village woke up, most of them didn't even know where they were at. Some of them didn't even know who they were. And to top it all off, they didn't know why they all fell asleep for those 7 days. Now, everybody who knows about this doesn't know exactly what happened. They're saying that they believe there had to be some kind of chemical that made them fall asleep. Now, ask yourself this. A whole village falls asleep 7 days straight, and that's just regular? That's not regular. Something happened here. What kind of chemical can put a whole village to sleep for 7 days? That chemical had to be strong as hell. You even have people saying it could have been something paranormal. A lot of other people were saying that they might have been running a test to see exactly how people would react and respond if something like this happened. I guess they got their answers. Whatever it is, it's dangerous. You see that a whole village fell asleep for 7 days. If whatever chemical or whatever they did was unleashed fully, they might not have woken up.
Here's some of the creepiest ads that have ever aired. This ad was aired on August 1st, 2012, and was meant to spread awareness of the company Little Baby's Ice Cream, but it ended up spreading fear instead. If the visuals of the supposed ice cream man eating itself isn't enough to disturb you, the raspy voice of the narrator will.
I eat Little Baby's ice cream. It keeps me young. It keeps me light on my feet.
Throughout this ad, the narrator tells you all the good things that will happen to you if you eat their ice cream. And the narrator finishes it off with their disturbing slogan.
Ice cream is a feeling.
That ain't no damn ice cream.
Pilates is demonic. Pilates was created in the 1920s by Joseph Pilates. He was a sickly man who healed his body through exercise. He taught his first method in New York City in 1926. On the surface, it seemed innocent, but there's actually a little more that you might not know. 4 years after starting Pilates, Joseph actually joined the Freemasons in 1930. The Freemasons are a secret brotherhood that's been whispered about for centuries. It's said to quietly pull the strings of everyone powerful behind the scenes. While his exercise has nothing to do with the Freemasons specifically, his membership connects him to a society that some Christians view as spiritually concerning. It's not Pilates itself, but the history raises a lot of questions. Joseph had studied yoga, Zen Buddhism, and other Eastern disciplines. This shaped his method's focus on mindfulness, breathing, and mind and body connection. So the movements themselves are not inherently evil. That's not what I'm saying. But the philosophies behind them are what Christians are very concerned about. They consider your mind and your body to be connected. And so when you're practicing these movements that have been influenced by things outside of your faith, by like philosophies and ideas and ways of life that you aren't familiar with, they believe that this can have an influence on you, like because it came from like other sorts of spiritual origins. So let me know if you think Pilates is demonic, and follow for more.
What do you think, Seekers?
World War II, they did an insane amount of nuclear blowing up nukes. They used a lot of soldiers for experiments to like on ships like in the ocean. So they would be on a ship in the ocean and they would set off a nuke and they would say, okay, now cover your eyes with your hands. And they said with the brightness and radiation that these nukes put off, they said they could literally see their bones through their skin. And one guy said, talking to the interviewer, if the bomb were to blow up behind you, now staring at you, he said, I can see every bone in your body.
What kind of cancers do these men have today?
I don't know, they're all old dudes, so they're probably all like super young.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like literally holding a flashlight or something kind of similar, but just fully
But he said you do
transparent.
this and you would see your bones in your hands.
Tan line would go crazy.
Just
Think of like nuclear testing videos. We have a ton from like the 1900s. Why don't we have any new footage?
Because I think we don't really test them all much. I think something was passed where you're not allowed to necessarily set them off.
You have to test what you're building or testing.
Maybe you can test the components.
Yeah.
So just imagine
Scary.
you face a tea with ratatouille marinating in it. This has to be on a whole different level of diabolicalism. How did Lil Squeak even fit inside of the can to begin with? And it's like we can't go to the grocery store, we can't trust fast food, because shit like this keep happening. Because at that point, you either have to sue them or call up your YNs and go bump down on the headquarters. And you can tell by the tea that the rat enhanced the flavor. Went from a sweet tea to a Master Seafood tea. Yeah, like the Ninja Turtles' daddy. And I just know that she knew that it tasted extra squeaky. And what makes this worse is this ain't the first time Lil Ratatouille has been found inside of a can. They even popping up in people's energy drink. You think you quench your thirst, instead you gulp a bunch of rat sweat? To me, that's a reasonable crash out. But I'm curious, y'all let me know what y'all would have did if y'all found a little squeaker inside of your drink in the comments. Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned. And remember, if you want to learn how you can turn your social media into printing you money, just by posting videos, comment down below ATM. I'm sending it.
Be careful what you drink.
Oh, I didn't. But someone told me about it. So he had like a witch on stream, and he went to go visit her place, and they were doing a whole bunch of rituals and stuff. And he started getting really sketched out, kind of scared. The theory was that people were saying that he felt as if she was taking something from him.
Oh,
Yeah, like spiritually, and it was affecting him in that moment. So what happened was they were in the middle of something, and then he started feeling something off.
Like, I need this thing from us. I'll be right back, okay?
And he looks at the camera, he goes, pause, or mute, and then just walks away, and then just leave.
Mute.
They don't even say bye to the lady, nothing like that. Just get out of there. Because people are saying that she was trying to curse him or do some rituals that he felt were really, really wrong to him.
This robot is the first humanoid that never needs to stop working because it changes its own batteries autonomously. UB Tech Walker S2 weighs 95 pounds and can detect when its battery is running low, walk to a charging station, and swap its own battery pack in under 3 minutes without any human help. The robot uses both arms to remove the depleted battery from its upper back, place it in the charging dock, grab a fresh battery, and install it perfectly while continuing to operate on its backup power. This breakthrough eliminates the last major bottleneck requiring human intervention in robotic operations, enabling true 24/7 autonomous factory work without any downtime or human oversight. Chinese robotics companies are now competing directly with Tesla, Boston Dynamics, and other American firms by deploying robots that can maintain themselves indefinitely in industrial environments. Factories could operate completely autonomously with robots that work continuously, never get tired, never make mistakes, and never need human assistance. Walker S2 is already being tested in real factory environments where it performs complex tasks while managing its own power needs like a completely self-sufficient worker. This represents the transition from robots as tools that humans operate to robots as autonomous workers that manage themselves and their own operational requirements. When robots can work 24/7 without any human intervention whatsoever, what happens to the millions of factory and warehouse jobs that still require people?
The girl that was found decomposing in the front trunk of David's Tesla has finally been identified, and based on all the new details we just got, it seems that this is not going to end well for David. So for context, this girl's name is Celeste, and she was found in the front trunk of David's Tesla, and it turns out that Celeste was 15 years old. And this is where it makes me even more sicker to my stomach, because the remains that were found of Celeste were initially so unidentifiable. This is where it gets even more worse for her, because Celeste has been missing since April of 2024. Her Celeste mom's just told TMZ that her daughter had been dating a boyfriend named David and had mentioned getting a tattoo with him. As the tattoo that Celeste had on her finger was a tattoo that said shh, which is a tattoo that David also has. A reminder that David is 20 and Celeste is 15, and this is where it gets even more insaner, as seemingly David didn't even have this shish tattoo until a year ago. And remember, the night that the body was found in David's front, David went on stage in Minneapolis and seemingly did not directly address this, as he has allegedly been cooperative. And remember, this is all alleged and nothing has been confirmed yet. A lot of people are saying that after a 15-year-old with a matching tattoo of you found in your car is not a good look.
It's not a...
See, Chris, what do you guys think about the David situation, bro? That's crazy. It's a whole lot of information came out yesterday, man, and it wasn't looking good, bro. Can't believe Jason Wayne did a song with them, man. I mean, nobody knew, but that's just crazy.
As you might think. For years, Disney's been accused of hiding adult subliminal jokes in their movies. This one, boys, is actually true. Actual Disney animators have admitted that they slip subtle jokes in for the parents when creating these movies, as they know the kids won't get it or understand it anyway, but it just actually makes it a little bit more enjoyable for the parents who are watching it. For instance, the priest in The Little Mermaid looking just a little bit too happy. And one of the craziest ones you probably haven't seen before, in Zootopia there's a Breaking Bad parodying reference. The sheep villains run a you-know-what lab, creating the blue stuff, and they're both named Walt and Jesse. So Disney do hide these things in their movie, but once you see them, you definitely can't unsee them. But this one most definitely is a truth.
Jersey just legalized compost made of human remains. So within the next 10 months in New Jersey, you'll be able to turn a loved one that passed away into compost. Now apparently this whole human to compost process takes about 45 days to complete, and it, quote, gently turns the body into nutrient-rich soil. Now this is achieved by placing a human into a vessel filled with organic materials, which is then sealed and attached to an HVAC system. Well, even though this law is new to New Jersey, it is not new to the US itself, as back in 2019, Washington became the first state to legalize this whole human composting process, and since then, a couple of other states like New York and now New Jersey have also followed suit. Now, after the process is done, you can decide if you want a little bit of the compost to spread sort of similar to ashes, or if you want a lot so you can, like, plant a plant with it. Note to self, remind me not to eat any crops from New Jersey or this exists is to sort of be an alternative to cemeteries, since a lot of them are getting overcrowded. New Jersey is the 14th state to legalize this practice since it started all the way back in 2019.
When I was a child, I loved playing the Mario Brothers, but now that I'm older, I understand why I love playing this video game. I used to think it was all fun and games, but now I'm more mature. I understand they was laughing at us. Once you start studying spirituality, you will understand that the goddess Sophia created everything. The name Sophia means wisdom. When you play the Mario Brothers, you see Princess Toadstool. She represents Sophia, the goddess. King Cooper is the one that stole the goddess. King Cooper represents the Dracolians or the reptilians. There's a lot of conspiracies that's going around saying that alien reptilians control this world. Well, King Cooper represents reptilians, and the politicians may be reptilians. In order to save the princess or the goddess, you have to beat 8 castles. The 8 castles is connected to the 8 phases of the moon. King Cooper or the reptilian had 7 children. He made 8. The 8 phases of the moon represents the 8 castles. Reptiles is known to be cold-blooded creatures. The moon is known to be ice cold because the reptilians live there. When you play this game, you can take mushrooms and it make you stronger. In our reality, you take magic mushrooms and it tap you into the spiritual world. When you turn the game on, you start at world 1 with 5 lives. 5 lives represents reincarnation. You only have 5 chances to get it right. This video is about to get a little dark. Stay with me. If you ever play this video game, you notice every time Mario go down the pipe, he is going to a different world. That world represents different dimensions. If you want to travel to different realities.
So this is what they mean by New York not being a real place, because not only do you have cars dropping into massive sinkholes, but New York also experienced some type of crazy hailstorm yesterday as well too, y'all. Look at this, y'all. That's crazy. Right after the car fell into that pothole, New York was like, here, let me fill that pothole with some ice. And look at this, y'all. The heavy wind, rain, and ice was really coming down at one point in time. Look at this deck over here, y'all. It looked like little salt pebbles, doesn't it? Right? The earth is being salted right now, man. The season is here. That's crazy. It seems that New York is definitely doing its part out in the Matrix. This hailstorm caused some significant damage to some cars. New York has also been getting tornado warnings. This wasn't a tornado that would knock down the tree, but this hailstorm was accompanied with heavy winds, and it was knocking down trees onto the ground. Ice is everywhere, y'all. I told y'all, man. Ice is in the form of government, and you know this over here, that ice is working overtime all over the planet, y'all. In the form of government, you know, hot as hell, you know, and then you get ice as hell. Ice as hell as well too. Vanilla ice, baby. The shit is here. Let's get it.
This man who worked at Harvard stole people's heads, brains, and skin from cadavers and sold them in the black market. 57-year-old Cedric Lodge was a Harvard Medical School morgue manager and just pleaded guilty to stealing and selling body parts from cadavers. He worked at Harvard for 30 years and ran a program where people donate their body parts for science, and it wasn't until recently that they found out he was stealing body parts. From 2018 to 2020, he secretly removed organs, brains, skin, hands, faces, and dissected heads after the bodies were used for research. Instead of disposing of the bodies, he took them home to New Hampshire. His wife was also in on this, and they sold the remains to buyers in different states. And they made good money doing this, apparently tens of thousands of dollars. Cedric pleaded guilty this week and faces up to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Harvard did fire him in 2023 and called his actions a morally reprehensible betrayal. The school also insists that he did act alone and that no other Harvard employee was involved. But get this, some human remains were also found being sold on Facebook Marketplace.
Life hacks.
Do you guys believe the corruption just stopped there, or there could possibly be more to that story, Seekers? I don't know, that sounds like a freaking deep rabbit hole we might have to go down. His wife is in on it too, so who's to say some other people weren't in on it? You never know.
That Everyone Needs to Know Part 2. To remove a tight ring that's stuck on your finger, all you have to do is grab a string and tuck it under the ring. And then grab that same string and wrap it around your finger, and from there all you have to do is grab the other side and start pulling. The ring will magically remove itself. All you have to do to remove tape paper without ripping it is to hold the tape from both ends and start pulling really hard, which will then cause the tape to get removed super easily. If your house key broke in the lock for some reason, just get yourself a hot glue stick and place it inside the lock just like this, and just wait for it to dry a little bit and pull it really hard, and there you have it, your key is out.
Wow.
These are 8 horrifying facts that will probably keep you up at night. The Voynich manuscript is an ancient book full of symbols and drawings that no one can translate till this day. Dracula was based on a real person. Vlad Dracula, a Romanian ruler that very much enjoyed watching people bleed to death. In 1963, the Bronx Zoo had an exhibition called The Most Dangerous Animal in the World. It was a mirror. 2 fishermen used their dead friend's ashes as fishing bait, and they caught the world's biggest carp. These are how Halloween costumes looked like in the 30s. If Earth stopped spinning for 1 second, everything and everyone will die instantly. A new homeowner found an old doll boarded up in his wall holding a note saying she killed a family in this house. This house is named the John Lawson House, and nobody knows who lives here. Every day, this porch is occupied by a number of female mannequins. The number of mannequins, the positions they're in, and the clothes they wear are changed every day, and no one knows who is doing this and why. Like for part 18.
Stay away from that house, man. John Lawson's house, noted.
Scary facts that will make your skin crawl. BT.6. Phobias are based on how we died in our past life. Maybe that's why we're afraid to do things we never tried, because it's how we died. Experts said that dark areas, such as abandoned houses and vacant rooms, are the possible places where you can feel the presence of ghosts. So if you're alone right now while reading this post, there is a chance that someone is watching you. If you're awake at night without a reason, then it means that you are awake in someone else's dreams.
Really? Interesting. Something standing out.
Scary fun facts until the Orbeez overflow. There are microscopic mites that live in your eyelashes. Being buried alive happens so often on accident that they've now invented safety coffins. In the 1800s, dentures were made with real teeth from the deceased. Radio station UVB-76 has been broadcasting since 1982. All it does is make creepy noises and nobody knows where it's broadcasting from. Chainsaws were originally invented for childbirth. The final part of Mount Everest that you have to climb is known as Rainbow Valley. They call it that because all you see is all the different colored jackets from the frozen hikers. And it looks like I'm out of time. Follow for more fun facts.
Wow, okay.
Disturbing facts that may ruin your day. You are the oldest that you have ever been and the youngest that you will ever be. Your bed absorbs 26 gallons of your sweat every year. There are 15 dead people for every 1 person alive. Science can't measure exactly how strong a gorilla is, so there's no sure way on how to contain them. The gorilla enclosures at zoos are just based on trust. Every 18 minutes, someone in the United States has a brain aneurysm that ruptures. Vampire moths are real and can feed on the blood of humans. A jar of peanut butter contains 10 or more rodent hairs and can contain up to hundreds of insect fragments. Big Bird almost joined NASA's Challenger mission to help kids become more interested in space. Millions of kids would have watched Big Bird and the Challenger space shuttle explode on live television. Follow for more.
Scary facts that will give you nightmares, part 5. First up, did you know that pigs can eat literally anything, including humans? One thing a lot of people don't know about pigs is that there have been many records of farmers dying because their pigs ate them. This is usually because while tending to the pigs, the farmers will run into an accident like falling or something, and then the pigs will feast on their body. Next up, have you ever heard of fatal familial insomnia? Well, it's a rare genetic disease that can be inherited and makes it impossible for someone to sleep for months. Since this type of insomnia can last for so long, it can leave someone so exhausted that they develop high blood pressure, weight loss, severe exhaustion, and then death. And lastly, did you know that trees can grow inside of your lungs? In Russia, doctors were performing surgery on a man because they thought he had lung cancer, but instead of a tumor, they found a 5-centimeter tree branch in his lungs. They later found out that he swallowed a fir bud, which then grew into a tree branch.
We made dire bees almost 70 years ago, and we have not stopped paying for it. In the 1950s, folks flew in African honeybees to Brazil because they figured they could breed them with European honeybees in the hopes of making a hybrid better bee. One that was more productive than Euro bees and less on-site than Afro bees, because Afro bees are black Air Force tier of trouble. Brazilian beekeepers used excluder screens to keep the African queens from getting out. Problem is, they did not tell the new guys. Someone saw the screen screening, and was like, oh, we can't have that, and removed the screen, sending 26 African queens and swarms of Euro bees into Brazil, which quickly led to Africanized honeybees, or more known as killer bees. You see, generational trauma then made these African bees that much more trigger happy. Normally, a European queen bee will usually send out 20 to 30 attack bees at once. African honey queens unload half the whole clip, sending thousands, sometimes 30,000 attack bees at once. Not only that, but they chase people further than Euro bees and sting 10 times as much, with cases of people being tailgated by an angry swarm for a quarter of a mile. There's even stories of swarms waiting directly above a body of water so that the moment the runner comes up for air, all he gets is smoke. Over 1,000 people have been turned past tents by an air force of spite flies. And after being released in Brazil in '57, they hit America in the 90s like Will Smith, and left their mark like the Fresh Prince left on Chris. And to add insult, they also somehow nerfed the honey industry, so nature really slapped us for cutting corners. And today, Africanized honeybees are like a rash infecting the US Southwest. Moral of the story, be better or be turned into letters, 3 in particular, the more you know.
The strangest places in the world, part 1. Firstly, on top of a hill in Pennsylvania, some stones can be found that shouldn't actually be there, because there's no nearby high terrain where they could have originated. These are called the ringing rocks, because whenever something hits these stones, they make a strange ringing noise.
Weird.
Next is the petrifying well in England, where water flows from a rock and turns whatever it touches into stone. As you can see, people often leave items like hats, teddy bears, or even bicycles, which appear to have already been turned into stone. Some people believe there's a mystical power, but the scientific reason behind this is the unusually high mineral content in the water, which forms a hard mineral shell on any object it comes into contact with. And within a few months, everything essentially becomes a stone statue.
Stone water.
The parents of 20-year-old Sudishka Kanaki believe that their daughter drowned in the ocean in the Dominican Republic and are pushing authorities to declare her deceased. Sudishka's parents also said that they don't believe Joshua Wright, who was the last person seen with their daughter before she went missing, to be involved in her death. Joshua also testified that Sudishka's parents hugged and thanked him for trying to save their daughter's life. Now, authorities were really surprised that Sudishka's parents asked to declare their daughter deceased after only 12 days of her going missing, when usually investigations go on for months before they stop looking for someone. But I don't know, in this case, it seems like their parents are genuinely convinced that Joshua didn't do anything to hurt their daughter, and I guess after seeing all the surveillance footage of both of them together before she went missing, the only other possibility is that she drowned in the ocean. This is the last time Sudishka and Joshua were seen together at the resort, and a lot of people have speculated that perhaps Sudishka was abducted on the beach after Joshua fell asleep, because remember, they were both really intoxicated. But I don't know, that seems very unlikely, especially at a resort in the Dominican Republic where, for the most part, it's pretty safe.
Animal group names that should be illegal for how happy they make me for free. A group of ferrets is called a business, which means I can finally show this picture without being out of context. And if that sounds too professional, just remember this first Slinky's Latin name means stinky weasel thief. A group of vultures is called a wake, but only when they're eating. When they're flying, they're called a kettle. A group of porcupines is a prickle. A prickle of porcupines, which also describes how they mate. A plurality of platypus is a paddle. Several sloths are a snuggle. A group of baboons in one place is a congress. No comment. A group of crows is scientifically referred to as a murder. Did you know crows will investigate the cause of death when a member of their murder croaks? Also seemingly mourn the dead and grieve the loss of their... never mind. A group of ravens is an unkindness, and for the record, if you want to know the difference, if you're wondering if it's a crow or raven, it's a crow. And if you're wondering what in the Edgar Allan Nevermore looking... it's probably a raven. Unkindness comes from the idea that ravens are deadbeat parents that often evict their chicks before they're even ready. They're also called a conspiracy, You know what else is a conspiracy? A lot of lemurs. This entire scene is a conspiracy, and the biggest one is that ring-tailed lemurs are female-dominated, so King Julian is actually a queen and a Julia. A group of parrots is a pandemonium, and once upon a time, a parrot was kicked out of a former president's funeral because he kept swearing through the service, so yeah, pandemonium. And lastly, a group of alpacas is a herd, but an alpaca giving birth is called an unpacking. Send it back.
Another cold case has been solved thanks to DNA. On December 23, 1983, 24-year-old Ronald Lee Novak was found dead in his home in rural Walker, Iowa. He was found by a friend with his hands tied behind his back in an unheated room in his apartment in the dead of winter in Iowa. He had been beaten and shot, but it was determined that his cause of death was a combination of his injuries, shock, and hypothermia. Investigators believed he was killed in a robbery or burglary gone wrong, but they had no suspects, and unfortunately, his case went cold. But over the last decade, DNA from Ronald's case was being tested, including DNA from his clothing and from a hammer found in his home believed to be used in the attack. Genetic genealogy allowed investigators to narrow the DNA down to 3 brothers, and then further DNA testing revealed that it was likely that 64-year-old Michael Schappert, who now lives in Fairview, Oregon, was the likely killer. The investigation revealed that Schappert, quote, likely went to Novak's home with the intent to rob him of money and marijuana. And now, more than 40 years after Ronald Novak's murder, he has been arrested. Schappert was arrested in Oregon and is being held there pending extradition to Iowa, and he is facing first-degree murder charges. The case is not completely closed, though, because it is believed that at least one more suspect was involved in Ronald's murder. Lynn County Sheriff Brian Gardner said, quote, by naming a suspect, it may cause other people to now come forward that maybe weren't willing to do so previously. Or maybe this has jogged their memory some 41 years later. Ronald's sister said after the arrest that the investigation has been a long ride for the family, and she didn't know if she would ever see this day come. She said, quote, you start to give up hope that there will be an answer. I wanted it so bad. We look forward to the trial. At least now Ronald's family has answers, and hopefully he will soon be getting the justice he deserves. Rest in peace, Ronald.
These are some...
Rest in peace. Justice will come to you sooner or later.
If you could rack your brain right now to ask yourself what is the most disturbing Disney Channel original movie, which one would you pick? If you chose Don't Look Under the Bed, you're correct, because the movie actually almost never even made it to television. Any of the sequences that did eventually make the cut were considered so disturbing, this is actually one of the only Disney Channel original movies that has a TV PG rating. Anne Sweeney, who was the president of Disney Channel at the time, as well as countless other executives, had a lot of issues with this film. And even to this day, there are still some sequences, some scenes that have never seen the light of day. They were not going to be included in the movie. And I think in part, the credit should go to the director, who was really trying to creatively push the boundaries of what could be included in children's horror. Even just beyond the disturbing imagery, they explored some pretty dark themes in a children's movie, starting to play with psychological horror when Frances can see things that everybody else thinks she's crazy for. In 2006, Disney Channel had to pull it from the October catalog. It will not be on Disney Channel again.
YouTubers who became murderers, part 1. This was the YouTuber Elliot Rogers' last video.
Tomorrow is the day of retribution. The day in which I will have my revenge against humanity, against all of you.
This was called the Day of Retribution. The son of a Hollywood filmmaker killed 6 people. Roger left the car and saw students across the street. He shot at them, taking the life of Veronica Weiss and Catherine Cooper. The suspect proceeded on foot and fired several rounds into the deli. One of the bullets struck and took the life of a student named Christopher Martinez. Then he drove down the left side of the road so he could fire at 2 pedestrians. Police then came running across the park, and Roger fired at them as he drove. But he was struck in the left hip. After he hit a cyclist, he crashed his car into the back of an SUV.
This guy in Brazil would dress up as Batman with a red hood. He even had his own homemade weapons like the batarang and everything. He would break into suspected criminals' homes and just beat them senseless. This is as close to lore-accurate Batman as we might get. His name is Rodrigo Rodrigues da Silva. He was also known as the Punisher of Paranaíba in Brazil. He was arrested back in 2023. When he broke in, he had like bladed gauntlets, like the batarang, a utility belt full of different weapons and stuff. He also told police he had intentions to use all of his weapons on the person's home that he broke into. In Brazil, homicides are very, very prevalent in the country. He got kind of sick of all these criminals getting away with it, so he decided to take justice into his own hands. I forgot one more thing. He also had a submachine gun on him. It's not pictured here, but crazy. And mind you, these are suspected criminals, so maybe some of these aren't confirmed criminals, but it's just crazy to think about, Batman breaking into your home and just beating you senseless at night. And the work that he put in to make his suit and his weapons and everything, crazy stuff. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Her father...
You ever real life Batman, bro, in Brazil? How come that didn't make that in the news or something, man? This is my first time hearing it, bro. He real life tried to become Batman, bro. He had the weapons, the batarangs, all that. That's freaking crazy to think about, man. We got a real life Batman before GTA 6.
Judith Barsi was born on June 6 of 1978 in Los Angeles, California. Her parents, Joseph and Maria, were originally from Hungary and had met at a restaurant in California. From a very young age, Maria was fascinated with Hollywood and was determined to make her daughter famous. Judith was discovered while she was ice skating one day and was asked to come out in a commercial. From there, it was just the start of her career, and she came out in the movies All Dogs Go to Heaven and Land Before Time. Judith was very small for her age, and she even started taking hormone injections to make herself grow. Her success helped her family thrive, and she was making about $100,000 a year, and her parents used that to buy a 3-bedroom house in Los Angeles. Although Judith's career was thriving, something sinister was going to happen behind the scenes. Judith's father had drinking problems, and he was angry with his daughter's success. He had even gotten arrested 3 times for driving under the influence. Many of Maria's friends told her to leave her husband, but she refused because she was scared that she was going to lose the house, her belongings, and that he would unalive her somehow. On July 27th of 1988, around 8:30 a.m., the family's neighbor was watering her garden when she heard an explosion. That neighbor rushed to call 911 because she was afraid that Joseph had unalived his family. That neighbor was right because Joseph had shot Maria and Judith in the head and then poured gasoline everywhere. Judith and Maria were buried together in Hollywood Hills, California, and Joseph is said to be in an unmarked grave.
This might be the most insane case of police cover-up I've ever seen in my entire life. Arrest has finally been made in the murder of Sandra Birchmore, who all of this started back in 2010 when Sandra was just 12 years old. She enrolls in the county's police youth program where her alleged killer, Officer Matthew Farwell, is an instructor. At some point, Officer Farwell, who's 27 years old, begins grooming Sandra, and by the time she's 15, they're having a full-on intimate relationship, if you know what I mean. When Sandra turns 18, she's obviously aged out of the program, but maintains a relationship with Officer Farwell, who is married with children. In October of 2020, Sandra tells Farwell that she wants a child, and he apparently agrees to get her pregnant in exchange for her silence about the statutory R word and extramarital affair. 2 months later, Sandra's pregnant, and after Farwell finds out, he becomes physically violent with Sandra. She told multiple friends that Farwell had pushed her, shoved her, and even placed her in a chokehold. In January the following year, someone called the police department and leaked this information. When the employee told Farwell about this phone call, he became visibly angry and told them to keep this information secret. Within days of that phone call, Farwell starts to allegedly plan Sandra's murder. All of a sudden, he wants a spare key to her apartment. 2 days after that, he starts canvassing her apartment, looking for places to carry out the murder. He inspected her bathroom closet, specifically places where items could be hung, and his behavior was strange enough that Sandra told multiple friends that she was concerned. A week later, on February 1st, Farwell enters Sandra's apartment wearing a face mask where police say he strangled her to death. And by the way, while Farwell was allegedly committing this murder, his wife was in the hospital giving birth. Family ended up hiring a private medical examiner who did rule it as a homicide. After years of a federal investigation and her family refusing to stay silent, Matthew Farwell has finally been indicted for her murder.
He is interested in blondes. I'm not blonde, I'm a brunette. So I'd go in the shower, take fingernail clippers, and just cut my hair off. Trying to do everything I can to get his attention again. I would have given anything to that man. I would have bought the sun, the moon, and the stars and gave it to him on a platter. And that hurts me that I loved him that much.
Why does it hurt you?
Because I feel like no one is ever gonna love him as much as I loved him at that time. And it makes me feel better knowing that he's truly sorry for hurting me. But it doesn't change anything. Like, I married Ryan. I have a marriage now. I'm wearing this wedding ring that belonged to Ryan's mom. Like, I have a commitment to my husband. And I want to keep that.
Talking about her ex.
But what's gonna happen when Ryan and I have an argument? is that little thought in the back of my head gonna say, Ken is single.
Jeffrey Dahmer targeted this 14-year-old boy. The police found him naked, bleeding from his rectum and everything, and Jeffrey Dahmer convinced the police to return him. He told the police that was his boyfriend. They had an argument. Police returned him to Dahmer, and then he got mutilated that night and killed. His name was Konrak Simthasaphone. And like I said, he was found naked, drugged, and bleeding from his rectum on a street corner, and police returned him to Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, dude, if you're seeing blood on somebody, maybe investigate, ask some more questions. His death was also absolutely horrific. He had a hole drilled into his head, and then Jeffrey Dahmer poured acid inside of it to try to recreate a real-life zombie out of him. He was trying to melt the kid's brains out. I think if the kid acted out and got arrested by police, he would have had a better chance to live. This is just so crazy that you would see the kid in this condition and decide to return him to, like, the person that's claiming to be his boyfriend. Hell, even if it was his boyfriend, right? Just look at the situation he's in, dude. Just investigate more. There's obviously some sort of abuse going on here. But it is sickening how much Jeffrey Dahmer actually got away with. This is just one of his many sick and twisted ways that he killed people. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
People are just finding out about the 500-year-old girl who is coming back to life. Stick with me because you're in for a wild ride, as you can see here. I did a video on this a long time ago, but for some reason it's circulating around again right now, freaking people out online and on social media, so here we go. So this mummy right here is known as La Doncella, or the Children of the Lulacana. These different mummies here are all part of the same family, the Children of the Lulacanu, where this group of mummies were found preserved at the top of the Lulacano volcano. But just wait, because it's crazy. This is the Lulacano volcano, which they were found right at the summit of this. And as you can imagine, it's pretty high up and pretty damn cold. The first crazy part is that look how realistic she looks right now, and she's over 500 years old. Or with all of these people being believed to have lived in the 14 and 1500s, and it's also believed they were and sacrificed when they were only around 13 years old, then buried and left at the top of this. Now where it gets even more interesting, of course, the archaeologists found these preserved bodies with all the body features and everything still being there after 500 years. Normally you'd be gone, mate. But this is how you might imagine someone who had passed away about 20-30 years ago at tops. But by far the craziest bit out of all of this, I know you're waiting for it, she's coming back to life. Essentially, what happened is the scientists who were doing the tests when they got these preserved mummies obviously wanted to figure out how the hell is this possible. Of course, from being at the altitude and those sort of temperatures, it froze her body and her insides. So they found her organs perfectly intact, healthier than probably some of you, and even frozen blood still in her body and in her veins. So she was basically the first person to get cryogenically frozen. Now, no, she's not necessarily coming back to life, just going to get up and start walking again. All of these mummies are now in a museum. But the point of what people have been saying is she could technically come back to life. I actually saw a few scientists have said that it could potentially be possible, but it's not exactly going to be the easiest thing in the world, so I highly doubt it.
And they said her organs intact. Her blood and stuff still circulating. Certainly a chance, but like I said, I don't know. Mummies? This shit getting crazy, bro.
Correct! If someone is trying to make you decide in a hurry, they are probably giving you a bad deal. Walk away. If someone has a panic attack, start breathing regularly and loudly. The person that is panicking will subconsciously start breathing in rhythm with you. When a group of people laugh, they tend to look at the person they like the most. Nervousness and excitement have the same body reaction, so if you're nervous for a speech, trick yourself into thinking you're actually excited. If you think someone is watching you, fake a yawn, then watch them. Get someone to contribute to an idea and they will more likely accept it. If you whisper to someone, it's more likely they will whisper back even if there's no good reason to lower your voice. If you want to make someone feel uncomfortable, look at their forehead while you're talking to them. If you want somebody to open up to you, ask them a question. If the person only partially answers it, remain silent and keep eye contact. This will pressure the person into talking more. If you want to be more persuasive, reduce the use of the words I think and I believe. Okay. Touching someone on their shoulder or on their knee creates a stronger emotional bond with that person. Chew gum if you are still nervous. Our brains assume that if we are eating, then we are not in any immediate danger, lowering our fight or flight response. When you approach a group of people, notice if they turn their feet towards you or away from you. If their feet point away from you, you are probably not welcome. Subtly nodding when people are talking to you indicates that you are genuinely interested in what they are having to say and they're going to like you more. If you take a moment to look at someone's eye color when meeting them, you'll be giving them the perfect amount of eye contact. If there is a mirror behind where you are ordering, you are less likely to be rude because nobody wants to see themselves actually be rude. If you buy the first pitcher at the bar with your friends, you'd be surprised how far you could go by saying, "I bought the first one." If someone is making jokes at your expense, act like you can't hear them and ask them to repeat it multiple times. By the time they say it a third or fourth time, nobody's laughing. When someone remembers you, they are most likely going to remember the first memory and the last memory of you. So make sure you always leave a good last impression too. After you have learned how to do something new and have done it yourself, the fastest way to retain that information is to teach somebody else. If you have a song stuck in your head and you can't get it out, try and listen to the whole song all the way through while singing it. Your brain is treating the song like an unfinished task in your subconscious. Plan something for every Wednesday that you can look forward to. You'll start to look forward to it on Monday, and by the time Wednesday comes around, you're already halfway through the week and almost to the weekend.
Wow.
If you ask someone to do a small favor for you, their subconscious mind is going to register that they like you because they're doing a favor for you. Showing the palms of your hands while talking to someone subconsciously communicates that you have nothing to hide and that you can be trusted. Whenever you're introducing a new idea to someone and you lead with the words, "This might not be for you, but," it intrigues their interest and makes it feel like it probably is for them. If you need to remember to do something tomorrow, put something in your room out of place. If you don't want to get out of bed, throw your pillow across the room. The next day, you will see this item out of place and it will jog your memory of what you need to accomplish. If you're procrastinating, just stop telling yourself how much work you have to do. This will overwhelm you. Instead, tell yourself you only have to work for 5-10 minutes, and then you're likely going to continue working past those minutes. People who are lying will normally blink more than normal, hide the palms of their hands, glance up to the right, mess with their hair, or use abnormally long sentences. If you're trying to get over a breakup, do not use fictional scenarios. Imagining your person with someone new is only going to make you more angry and sad about something that's not even real. If you want to create a deeper connection with someone you're interested in, ask them these two questions. What do you think we have in common? And what do you like most about me? If you are suffering from racing thoughts, use the 3-3-3 rule. Name 3 things you see, 3 things you hear, and 3 parts of your body. This will help center your mind and bring you back to the present. When someone apologizes for something that you don't feel like was that big of a deal to apologize for, they're probably telling you subconsciously what actually bothers them if it was done to them. If they apologize for interrupting you, they probably really just don't like being interrupted themselves. Follow for more psychology hacks.
Interesting.
So people are finding that the ice cream is not real ice cream. And to prove this, they buy these ice cream cones and then they leave it outside of the freezer for like 24 hours. And after 24 hours, they try to see if it melts or not. Like, look at this video. They left it out for 24 hours and it's not melted. It looks like mashed potatoes, but it's not like liquid ice cream melted. So they left it out in room temperature for 24 hours and shockingly it didn't melt, and that's what we're eating. So if you look at the box drumsticks, like the packaging, right, nowhere on the packaging does it say that it's ice cream, because legally by the USDA they cannot say it's ice cream unless in the product they have like 10% milk fat. Drumsticks do not have that, so legally they cannot say it's ice cream, right? And look at the box. On the box it's so small where they put it, it only says 4 frozen dairy dessert cones, and they only put it super small at the bottom of the box. So since it says frozen dessert cones, that usually means it's made with like oils. There's like some milk fat, right? But there's not enough to call it ice cream, and that's why drumsticks don't melt.
Have you ever heard? I've never noticed that before, bro. Just pointed something out to me. If you look at the bottom, like I said, the bottom right hand corner, it doesn't say ice cream, it says fudge cones. Now I remember I had like an ice cream cones like a couple weeks ago, and it tasted so freaking disgusting. I just threw it away. I'm like, that's not no damn ice cream. I experienced that firsthand.
The conspiracy theory about Mrs. Puff. There's a theory that Mrs. Puff may have a very dark past. In the season 2 episode of SpongeBob titled Lighthouse Louie, It was revealed that before Mrs. Puff came to Bikini Bottom, she lived in a place called New Kelp City, and she may have been responsible for a terrible accident that happened there. Because in that episode, there was a scene where SpongeBob was going through a whole bunch of junk, and he ran across this newspaper article. The article is from the New Kelp Post and reads, "Range boat teacher makes getaway." And then at the bottom says, "Distracts authorities with balloon animals." It clearly shows a picture of Mrs. Puff. But here's when things get a little spooky. It might be a clear indication that Mrs. Puff is not who she says she is. Because if you take it back to the season 2 episode, No Free Ride, there was a scene where she says, "I have to move to a new city, start a new boating school with a new name." Then she says, "No, not again." Do you remember this part about distracting authorities with balloon animals? Rewind it back to this scene with the balloon animal. I don't know about y'all. I think Mrs. Puff got some explaining to do.
You'd like to learn something new today. Great, let me tell you these things that you definitely needed to know. Sony spent over $1 million in 2005 to drop 250,000 bouncy balls off of one of the steepest streets in San Francisco, which broke a bunch of windows and destroyed cars in the process. And who knew just 20 years later you could use AI to do that? Yippee! Over 99% of Warren Buffett's net worth was accumulated after he was 65 years old. Dang, that retirement 401k really paid off, didn't it? I'll be here every day. There was a 15-year-old in India who decided to take his spade and try to dig a pond to quench the thirst of the people and the cattle that were in his village. While his fellow villagers laughed at him, he identified one spot in the forest where he decided he was just going to keep on digging. He dug for 27 years, and the result was a 1-acre, 15-feet deep pond. Talk about consistency. Coming back every day. And we complain about like going to the gym every day.
Hey, did y'all hear about laundry detergent being banned in New York? Some brands was banned in New York because of the high level of dioxane, which is a cancer-causing chemical. It is in a category called forever chemicals. And it's called forever chemicals because they do not break down over time and permanently remain in the air, soil, water, and in the body. New York wanted to reduce the amount of forever chemicals that's in the water supply. So they changed the legal amount of how much to be put in it. And the brands Tide, Armor Hammer, and Game were shown to exceed that limit. Spokesperson for Tide and Game says that they changed their products to be in compliance with the New York rule and claims that the dioxane is coming from the plastic or the bottom. From brands to the highest to lowest level, 1 is Armor Hammer, 2 is Tide, and 3 is Game. But again, they've been said that changes was made by the manufacturers. So technically they ain't been banned yet. But a study being done in 2022 on these products is what caused all this. Because these harsh ingredients could pose a risk to human and environmental health. And brands that claim to be truly clean as Dirty Labs, Drops, and more. An original statement of Tide Original, Game Original Plus, and Roman Boats were also banned, but reformulated their products to a lower concentration limit. Damn, what's your thoughts on this?
What's going into the game?
Take your notes.
Any special thing you carried into the game on Sunday that you had tucked away somewhere?
I did. I always, I've learned a lot from my wife over the years. She's somewhat about the power of intention, and believing things that are really going to happen. And she always makes a little altar for me at the game, because she just wills it so much. And so she put together a little altar for me that I could bring with pictures of my kids. And I have these little special stones and healing stones and protection stones, and she has me wear a necklace and take these drops she makes, and I say all these mantras. And I stopped questioning her a long time ago. I did. I just shut up and listened. And at first I was like, this is kind of crazy. And then about 4 years ago, we were playing the Seahawks, and she said, you better listen to me. This is your year, but this is all the things you're going to have to do to win. And I did all those things, and my God, it worked pretty good. And then in 2015, it was about early January, she said, you know how much I love you. And I said, yeah. And she said, I just want to let you know this is not going to be your year. And of course we lost. I said, what does 16 look like? And she said, 16 is going to be your year. So it was early January this year, and I said, babe, I'm asking, do we have a chance? And she said, yeah, but you're going to have to do a lot of work, and you're really going to have to listen to me. So, man, I listened to her. And right after the game, she said, see, I did a lot of work. You do your work, I do mine. She said, you're lucky you married a witch. I'm just a good witch.
This woman called a secret society.
What the hell? He said he had like when he was describing altered pictures, all those pictures I guess his wife put in the brain. I don't know if she was doing like a little prayer ceremony or something, just hoping to good luck, but because there's sometimes you gotta think, man, the way Tom Brady was winning in the NFL, it was something, but some of those games were just like unbelievable. Especially that Super Bowl, man, against the Falcons, that 28-3 comeback, there had to be some type of mojo involved, man.
Why are you doing a ritual in the middle of a cornfield?
Check this
I was just
out.
walking in the cornfields, minding my own business. Typical Friday night in Indiana.
Okay.
Thought I was all by myself.
But she's not.
I was not. I'm talking quietly because I'm a little frightened.
There they are.
This is happening.
That's an effigy of a demon. She's gonna get a little closer. Watch this.
Could I get closer? They're not even acknowledging my presence. I don't really have any friends. I kind of wanted to do something fun tonight because it is a Friday, so I'm just gonna see.
Kind of strange to walk around a cornfield on Friday night by yourself. Check this out.
It's so weird. There's so many weird things happening
They're like
out
in a
here all the
trance.
time. You really never know. What?
That's a demon effigy.
What? Here, I'll show you guys a better angle. Pretty nice.
Stay weird, y'all. Some
Well,
strange
I
things
guess I'm
going
just
on.
gonna hang out here for a little bit with my new friends and
Stay weird.
So this
I'm
is
out.
what our water is going to look like very soon. Hence the bill they just passed to be able to pass through sewage and other yuckiness through our water streams, right? Like the water that you wash your face with, that you take a bath with, that you drink. Now a lot of people say, well, I don't drink tap water, so I don't really care. But you take showers, you wash your face, you do other stuff with water. I literally stopped drinking plastic bottles of water. I switched over. I bought a Brita, you know, the filter. I bought a Brita. You know what I'm saying? I'm saving money on water. Don't have to buy bottled water, just my own. You know what I'm saying? And now you're telling me I gotta go back to drinking the plastic water because obviously it's gonna be healthier for you than having to drink this or this. Disgusting. Like who wants to? I just don't get what they're doing. I thought RFK said he wanted us to be healthy again, make America healthy again. Well, it doesn't start with passing poo particles and all type of other sewage particles through our main water supplies. Make it make sense, dude. Like, what are we doing? How is this making America great?
Have you heard about mole world dreams? Why do I ask? Because people are coming together and telling their story about how they're all having the same dreams and waking up in the same places.
Wow.
It's like going to sleep and having a dream and then waking up and saying to yourself, that felt so real. Everyone online is talking about this place called Mole World. Thousands upon thousands of people have claimed to have visited the same place while dreaming. What if this place, hear me out, is not a dream, but just turns out to be a part of a simulation? People have described that in the videos that the escalators in the mall led to nowhere, always with no, and also elevators with floors that did not match what they said. People have also claimed to see a playground in their dreams, and also claim to hear children laughing, but none can be seen. So my question to you is, have you ever experienced this dream of a mole world? Do you think that maybe this is a place where we go to reset our minds, to get our thoughts? Or is it just where we actually live? And when we wake up, we're in the simulation. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
There is
The Interview Seekers experience, the Mole World Dream. I've never have. That just sounds like one mass, I guess, place where everybody with all the dreamers come together, man. That's interesting. People dreaming the same dream. What's going on?
About a guy who used to work in the Navy in the 70s.
Uh-oh.
They placed an acoustic sensor device all throughout the ocean floor in the certain areas. This was to map the ocean floor, detect submarines, and find other anomalies and stuff. It says one of the contacts while in the Navy who worked on the ASW team who was responsible for monitoring the sensors and everything. They would discuss underwater submersible objects that detected that would travel at thousands of miles per hour underwater.
What are you talking about?
He said they also have detected various structures underwater that are active and that they stay clear of. And so those might be like volcanoes or whatever,
Okay, yeah.
but they're detecting actual anomalies
This came out
underwater.
recently?
This is a report from a guy that worked in the Navy in the 1970s.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was in the 70s? They were tracking this stuff?
When they placed the sensor devices in on the ocean floor.
That is so
Yeah.
cool.
So-
Like, you know how you get stoked about space?
Yeah.
I get stoked about the ocean.
Those are probably like alien stuff, though.
Yes!
Oh.
They're meeting.
Dude, the ocean freaks me out way more than space.
What is going on with Jaden Smith? This man is not normal. This is not normal. Do y'all see this man's face? That's not from a camera flash. I don't know if this man got red dye, red makeup. I don't know what the hell that red shit on his face is. It look like it's on his hands too. Y'all, look at this video. Look at his face. What the hell is that? I just be trying to understand where did it all go wrong for this man. You had every opportunity to become one of the best actors ever. After the Karate Kid, I'm thinking this man finna have the best fucking acting career ever. But nah, this man took a whole different route. I mean, it is his life. I'm just trying to understand, fool. Like, why does a lot of Hollywood rich kids turn out to be weird? Nobody else but me noticed that. Like, what is he throwing up? What is these hand signs, fool? Last time I checked, fool, you grew up in a 7-bedroom, 6-bathroom house. So I'm not understanding. I need y'all thoughts down below in the comments. What do y'all think is going on, fool?
This will probably become the most controversial movie of the year. A Jesus Christ horror movie is about to drop, and the plot is absolutely wild. It's called The Carpenter's Son, and in the teaser trailer we see it's going to star Nicolas Cage of all people to play Joseph. We got Noah Jupe starring as Jesus and FKA Twigs as Mary. But instead of following his life and ministry like most Jesus movies, this one is going to be totally different. In fact, they use the phrase, a dark reimagining of Jesus. Now, the plot will revolve around him and his family hiding out in Roman Egypt while he is still a child, when one day he starts to discover his inherent powers. I mean, it's sounding like a freaking superhero movie so far. And according to the film's synopsis, quote, as he exercises his own power, the boy and his family become the target of horrors, natural and divine, which also leads Jesus to rebel against his guardian, Joseph. I'm not gonna lie, Nick Cage, cooked. Now, of course, this has led to a lot of backlash online with Christians calling it blasphemous and offensive, while others are saying that this biblical horror is exciting and a fresh take on the genre. Now, it's set to release later this year, but what do you guys think? Is this too far to make a horror movie about Jesus, or fair game?
Apparently, all of the
No, Hollywood don't care.
is coming out in 2025, whether they like it or not. What if I told you your DNA didn't start on Earth? And it may have came straight from outer space. Scientists just found proof of human DNA in a meteor that's over 2 billion years old. You heard what I just said? Human DNA in something that came from space. Now ask yourself, where the hell did we really come from? And before you think I'm going too far, let me explain. Scientists were studying this meteorite and found DNA molecules that exist inside of me and you. We're talking about adenine, guanine, cytosine, all of the ingredients that make life possible. And think about it. What if Earth wasn't the start of life? What if Earth was just a landing spot? Like, what if something out there threw a seed and that seed turned into us? What if we might actually be the aliens that we've been searching for? 2 billion years ago, this rock fell from the sky. Fast forward to now, we're talking, breathing, creating technology, making TikToks, all because of what? A space rock? Our DNA might literally be cosmic. Like, we might have the universe inside of us. But peep this crazy shit. Scientists are saying that this could mean that life exists all over the galaxy because our DNA showed up in space. So what else is out there? So think, what else is out there that looks like us? What if other civilizations already evolved from the same building blocks, same codes,
Just a different planet. Drop an alien emoji if you think we came from the star. And if this blew your mind, follow for more. Because this rabbit hole is way deeper than you think. I'm out.
Do what he said, man, Seekers. If y'all think, man, we got freaking cousins or something, man, out in the stars, drop an alien emoji. I want to see him.
A skeleton purse with real spines.
Oh, what is it, like Valenti?
Rick? It's not. It's some next brand called Unconventional. It uses a real spine from a... Now, where do they get the bodies, though? They say they get the bodies from, like, donors that send their bodies or sign it up for science.
Yeah.
You know how you go to those science centers?
Yeah, you see the big
whole bodies. It's still weird, though. Like, why... And why handbags?
Are they trying to portray it as luxury? Like, is it very expensive?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
even
mean, it
worse.
has to be, too.
That's even worse because that makes people want to buy it.
And you know who's buying that?
Yeah,
It's the weirdos.
Yeah, no, the rich man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Usually,
Why is it always about... That's what's weird.
Y'all,
Weird.
when I tell you this generation is cooked, y'all, people who do not have discernment, cooked. People with discernment, cooked. Have y'all seen this new AI from OpenAI called Sora 2? When I tell y'all that we've officially crossed the line from what's reality and what's a simulation, y'all, I am not exaggerating. This thing doesn't just generate videos, it generates reality. I'm talking about facial expressions, movement, voices, sound. They are all made by AI. And somebody out there already used it to make Jake Paul clips where you think it's so legit that it looked like he filmed it himself, y'all.
Alright, I'm gonna show you how to do the perfect everyday glam. Step, blush, just grab a ton of it, swirl it around, boom, right on there. If your face doesn't look like you just ran a marathon in the desert, you're not doing it right. Yeah, I'm gonna show you how to get these girls looking fresh and yes, very good with the new sparkly pink scent. Here's the curl cream I swear by. I take about that much, melt it in my hands, and then just work it through while the hair's still damp. Try to rate my tank. This is hands down the grossest thing I've ever done. I'm up to my shoulders. It's warm. It smells terrible. And there's toilet paper doing laps around me. The tank right now. Up to my shoulders. This is disgusting, but it's gonna be worth it.
Oh, nah.
Real? Do I exist? Does anybody know? Does anyone have an answer? Or has this all just been sorted to? I'm gonna ask the questions that matter. Are we AI? Because I don't know. I can't tell the difference and I'm losing my mind. Dude, I just watched the video of Jake Paul applying makeup like a makeup artist. Brother, we're not just cooked. We're marinated, sauteed, deep fried, and put in a fat guy's Tupperware for a meal prep he's not gonna stick to.
What's crazy is that Pisces is the age of illusion, and now that we are leaving the age of illusion, it's like all of them are coming to the surface to see where our perception really is, right? And I feel like there's a lot of people that are going to lose it, just like him.
Now I'm watching videos of XQC verbally abusing senior citizens in a retirement home, and I don't know what's real and what's fake. Oh, Facebook moms are gonna lose it. I'm losing it.
The shift is here, y'all. So what if this shift has to do with altering our perception to leave this illusion, this sport of illusion that we've always been in? Wouldn't that be something? Because a lot of movies tell us that, y'all. But let me know what you guys think about this Sora 2, man. Sora, whatever you want to call it. But the shift is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace out.
What's a conspiracy theory you pescatarianly believe in? This one's kind of funny. Conspiracy theorists believe that Finland doesn't exist. And apparently Russia and Japan made up the country Finland in 1918. Okay. The notion goes that the two nations created Finland so Japan could fish the sea that truly exists there without any environmental complications or repercussions. Then the fish are caught and shipped via Trans-Siberian railways from Eastern European coastlines to Japan under the disguise of Nokia products. What the fuck? Surely it's got to exist. Yeah, sure. And people are saying you either live in Sweden or Russia. There's no in between. It's just sea.
Finland doesn't exist, man. That wasn't a rabbit hole I was expecting to go down in this video. That sounds interesting, man. So I'm gonna have to check that out. We faking out countries out here, bro.
Tucked away in the woods, over 500 human-like statues, some fitted with human teeth. This is one of Finland's most eerie attractions.
True.
Finland's most famous unsolved homicide is a terrifying story because in the summer of 1960, 4 teens went camping by Lake Bottom when at around 3 or 4 in the morning, they were attacked. The perpetrator blindly stabbed through the 10 in a frenzied display before using a blunt object, likely a rock, to finish them all off. 3 of the teens were killed, while Niels Gustafsson was the lucky sole survivor, though he was badly injured and didn't remember what had happened. The police investigation was shoddy from the start. Some believe it was a satanic ritual killing. Several persons of interest were looked into over the years, including Niels himself, who was put on trial and sentenced to life in 2005, only to be freed a year later after a successful appeal.
So they couldn't find who did it, and they just took him. Just say, oh, you fit the bill, so you just gonna have to go. I don't know how many cases in history that happened, man. What is that? That's eerie.
Have you heard of this sauna competition in Finland? You sit in a hot sauna as the temperature is slowly increased, and you wait and see how long you can withstand this heat. Swimwear is the only clothing permitted, and you're only allowed to wipe the boiling sweat off of your face, but not your body. Most people believed that this competition was pretty dangerous, but it wasn't until 2010 that that belief was proven to be true. When this poor man had to be carried out of the sauna where he collapsed and passed away. And while the other competitor may have survived the competition, he still had to spend several weeks in the hospital recovering from his burns. And I'm not sure how accurate this is, but that makes sense because you're kind of in this like crock pot, just cooking. If dehydration or heat stroke doesn't get you first, then that probably will. Just watch this video, but be forewarned. Thankfully, since then, the competition has been closed down, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone was still doing it somewhere.
What is the scariest thing you can think of happening while camping? This story comes straight from the heart of Appalachia. And if you love scary camping stories, this week's episode is probably the scariest camping story I've ever heard. So the story goes that in the Great Smoky Mountains, a scout leader was taking a bunch of Boy Scouts up into the mountains for the weekend. And they were deep in the mountains. The nearest road was supposedly 6 miles away. So that night, all of the campers go to sleep except for the scoutmaster. He wanted to stay up and read, but also he was getting this weird feeling that something was watching them. So he's laying awake in his hammock when all of a sudden he hears rustling. It's like too small to be a bear, but way bigger than a squirrel. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this man just walks out of the woods. It's the dead of night and he has no gear and no flashlight. And he just sits at the edge of their camp watching the tents. The scoutmaster's laying in his hammock trying to not move a muscle, and he ends up laying there for 3 hours. And all the while, he's thinking about how he was just reading about feral people living in the Smoky Mountains. Eventually, the guy gets up, stares at the camp for a few more minutes, and turns around and leaves. The scoutmaster makes everyone leave that next day, but he keeps getting the feeling that someone's watching him the whole rest of the weekend. I have a bunch of episodes that have different scary camping stories, so check them out.
They're humans. They're lucky nothing happened, man.
Despite this case receiving heavy media attention, it has been years and we're still not close to finding out who did it. June 5th, 1960 was a normal summer day in Finland. 4 Finnish teens, 2 15-year-old girlfriends and their 18-year-old boyfriends decided to take a trip to Lake Bottom. Because my pronunciation would absolutely butcher their names, I'm going to leave them on screen in case you want to look anything up about them. Between 4 and 6 a.m., while the teens were sleeping in a singular tent together, They were attacked. These pictures of the tent from the crime scene show it just being absolutely torn apart. They were stabbed and cut through the actual canvas of the tent. The attacker not only attacked them with a knife, but also some sort of blunt object. The teens' wallets and their shoes were found a little bit away from the actual crime scene. Of the 4 teens, only one survived their attack. How creepy would it be to be camping not knowing that nearby somebody is lurking, waiting to kill you? Soon after police launched an investigation, they found out from some boys who were birdwatching around 6 a.m. on the morning of the murder that a blonde man was seen leaving the area. Eventually this sketch was made of the suspect, but police didn't really take this sketch that seriously. However, it did look quite similar to a man named Hans Assmann. Hans is originally from Germany and claims that he was a former SS officer and guard in Auschwitz. He also claims he was sent to the Eastern Front and was captured by Russian forces and became a KGB agent. There is no evidence to any of his claims. Additionally, Hans is the suspect in 2 other Finnish murders, including 2 other girls who were out camping and a teenage girl who was run over while on her bike. Additionally, he looks pretty similar to that weird sketch. Supposedly, sometime after the murders, he arrived at a Finnish hospital covered in bloody stains and was aggressive and anxious, also lying about his name. But police didn't bring him in or question him, and nothing came of this lead. In 2005, the survivor, Niels, was arrested and charged as the actual perpetrator. Even though he had his own injuries like a broken jaw, police claimed that these injuries were actually from the other friends trying to fight him off. However, there was no evidence, he was acquitted and awarded a ton of money for the pain and suffering caused by these accusations.
As you should.
The third suspect is a man named Valdemar who knew the area really well. He operated a kiosk on the site and was known to have a short temper. He also filled a well on his property shortly after the time of the murders. But again, there is no evidence it was this guy either. And to this day, Finland's largest mystery is unsolved.
It seems like the pattern was lining up. With that other guy, man, the picture looked accurate. It looked like him as well. I don't know why they didn't just go after him. Everything seemed to be lining up.
Finnish mythology is a folklore of paganism. On his shoulder grew the aspen. On each temple grew the birch tree. On his mighty chin, the alder. From his beard grew the willow bushes. In Finland, those who have long since passed are said to have become one with Mother Earth. Plant life around them grows in their form, in their mirror image. Trees will start looking like skulls or faces, with moss for beards and knots for eyes. The dead that lie beneath have now become the foliage around you. In a beautiful and harmonic way, they become one with everything else. But it is said that when one rests for this long, you will be able to raise them from Tuonela, the land of the dead or the afterlife, also known as Manala. Shamans would summon the dead in challenging situations, such as the fight against evil, plagued monsters, or dark witches. With this one song, the dead would arise. My nature from thy hole arise, my Haltia from under a fallen tree, my helper from beneath a stone, my guide from out the moss. Come, dread inspiring Kalma, come at a time of anguish dire, to give support, to safeguard me, to help me and strengthen me, for the work that must be done, for the hurt that must be known about. With that song, the dead would rise from the hands of Mother Earth, which is why,
like Mother Earth, she had her agents. She had agents out there.
Aita lives in the woods of Finland and in the Arctic tundra. A serpentine creature that sometimes slithers, sometimes walks on 2 legs. A reptilian, almost skeletal head. Antlers growing high out of its top. The scaled back is hunched, the tail long. Sometimes she is also described with dragon-like features, sometimes as a woman who suckles snakes and brings misfortune to anyone who meets her. As the granddaughter of Hisi, the master of the woods and spreader of disease,
This female spirit is said to bring sickness and pestilence wherever she goes. The mere proximity to Aita brings disease to anyone unfortunate enough to cross her ways, and certain death to every creature that wishes her harm.
Okay. Stay out the forests of Finland, man. You got some scary folklore out there. Hey. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up in this video. Comment down below if you guys learned anything new. Also, don't forget to hit that post notification bell so you always get notified when I upload my next videos. You guys are going to catch me in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.